Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Sadly, we're here to celebrate Shamala and her passing. We appreciate everyone who could attend, and I look forward to the poems tonight. Let me see. Um, yes, it's going to be a wonderful night of poetry. We have many, many, many wonderful poems on the board um, by so many different poets, and I look forward to this. So. And that in that respect, I'd like to let everybody know we have Pam Ray, Intimitus Rex, Laurent Yvonne, JoJo, and myself here. Um, and thanks to everyone who contributed and helped make this happen. Um, yes. So hello, Pam, and
Hey, Phil.
hello,
Hello,
Rex.
everyone.
Yes. Hello, Rex. Hello, Laurent. Um,
Hello, everyone.
hope everyone is doing all right this evening. It's it's yeah, it's going to be a night of poetry for sure. And hello,
It's
Mara.
difficult. It
Yes,
surely is.
absolutely.
It,
Everybody's emotions are running high. Hello, Monarch. Hello, Aaron. Hello, Angela. Hello, Miriam. Hello, Rex. I said that already. Hello, Amy Lynn. Hello, Quicken. And hello, Unexpected Bill. Um, nice turnout tonight. And I hope everyone is having a good night so far. I mean, it can only be but so good, but we're going to celebrate. Um, we're going to celebrate Shamala. Shamala. Sorry. I've never said it right, so why would I change now? Um, okay. Well, we have a lot of poetry to get through. A lot. And there's no surprise there. So, hello, Bill. Welcome to the board. And yes. So, we're going to start tonight out with a poem that was shared by Shamala on one of our shows. And this piece is called Eternal Waiting. And I'm going to put that up. And I have an audio. And here we go. Here goes the button. Here we go.
Eternal Waiting by Shamala. I wait where night begins to breathe, where the sky falls into rivers of blue, and you, O Chandra Prakash, hang in the stillness, a golden sickle that never harvests what I sow. a silence deep as Kailash, a gaze withdrawn into eternity. Even as you dissolve into meditation, I wait. I'm Nandi. I do not ask. I do not move. I turn my face only towards you, a statue of breath unburned, chiseled by longing, yet without demand. Staying in breath, bound not by hope, but by surrender's sweetness. Your stillness is my part, your absence my shrine. Your silence is vast, a sky filled with slow moving clouds, a horizon curved like a secret. 1,000 nights may pass, the world may swell and fade in waves of time, yet I remain, rooted in the dark earth, hoofs planted in faith, an offering of stillness, an altar of waiting. Love need not return to be real. It is amber in stone, a hush beyond centuries, a pulse with no reply. You do not come to me, for you are beyond coming and going. You do not answer me, for you are beyond words. And yet, your silence is my nectar, your distance, my nearness. So I wait, not for your footsteps, not for your light to fall upon me, but for the chance to be forever turned towards you. O Jagadisha, in your meditation over permanence, I learned the truth of waiting. To love is not to seek, but to endure, to stand forever, an eternal witness carved into time. End poem.
Oh my goodness, what an absolutely poignant way to start the show. The first poem being the written by Shamala, and read in her voice is both beautiful and sad at the same time. And I think that is just absolutely a wonderful poem to start the show out with. And Rex, your thoughts? Rex, are you muted?
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
I can't hear him either.
All right. I might need you to come in, go out and come back in, Rex, and I'll get someone else to comment. Sorry. And Bill, your thoughts on Shamala's right?
Did I unmute, Pam?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. This is all new to me, and thank you guys for inviting me, by the way. I really love what you guys do here. I do. Um, I'm just going to read my comment from the initial time that I experienced this piece because it was the first time I'd heard our friend's voice, and I really, really enjoyed hearing it in her voice. I said then, this was just a treat to hear in your voice, Shamala. The reading pace was perfect, and you hit the notes in your right so perfectly. I loved reading it myself after hearing you read it first. Thank you for all the references in your author's notes, too. I certainly needed them because I am an American. We are notably stereotyped as ignorant of other cultures. I am actually okay with that label because ignorance is temporary when one is exposed to a delightful cultural education such as this piece. It's so beautifully stoic and mesmerizing. I love the SoundCloud too. That was a real treat, and you should be proud of it. Thanks for sharing this with me, my friend. Enjoyed it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said there, Bill. Um, and Laurent, your thoughts?
It's a remarkable piece, and lovely to hear it in Shamala's voice. The the sensation of stillness, of perfect emptiness, of waiting without waiting, as she calls it, an altar of waiting, which I truly believe is a perfection of faith in many ways, and that's one of the things that I think defines our good friend. Just love the piece, and it really offers insight into who she was.
It truly does. It truly does. Well said there. And welcome back, Rex. Um, your thoughts on Shamala's poem?
I mean, Bill had a great comment there, but there's something in here that I did enjoy. Um, Bound not by hope, but by surrender's sweetness. Your stillness is my path, your absence my shrine. Your silence is vast, a sky filled with slow moving crowds, a horizon curved with secret. 1,000 nights may pass, the world may swell and fade in waves of time, yet I remain, rooted in the dark earth, hooves planted in faith, an offering of stillness, an altar of waiting. There's such a wonderfully quiet note to belief and foundation within that belief, and how it holds its note to the soul of Shamala itself.
Oh, absolutely. I have to agree. I have to agree. Wonderful comments, everyone. Thank you. Um, yeah, it's just such a beautiful write. You know, it's spiritual in the way that Shamala was so beautifully spiritual. As always, you know, like many of her rights, it was so strong. It always amazed me what she could pull from a prompt. So just beautifully written and very well done. And back to you, Jean.
It seems that Joanne is having troubles hearing. I'm not too sure how to help her through that. So, Jojo, if you would be so kind as maybe help her out, because I don't know how to do it. I don't have that issue, so I'm never sure. And she is, unfortunately, the next poem to read. Um, so I'm not sure how to fix that. Can you hear us, Joanne?
Yes, I can, but it's
All
very.
right.
Oh, man.
Welcome back. I wasn't too sure. I saw you leave a few times. I figured you were still having trouble. And almost. Okay, I'm going to bring her back again. And okay, Joanne, your read is up next. And this is How I Love You, Dear Friend by Shamala. So, whenever you are ready, um, the piece is up in the room now. Whenever you're ready, Joanne. Can you hear me, Joanne?
I don't think she can.
I don't think so either.
No, she wants to do it
So,
briefly.
I know. I've brought her on the stage a few times, but she keeps going back out. This time she's staying, but I don't hear her, and she's not muted. Uh, well, well, next time. Next time's a charm.
Well, she's gone off the board at the moment.
Yeah.
She says that she is continuing to get kicked off, so she's going to try it one more time.
Okay. Okay. Let me try this. Welcome back. Can you hear us now, Joanne?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I'm not sure if anybody could hear me, but
Jojo told us you were getting
I'll
kicked
just
off.
go ahead and pay a tribute to my dearest best friend for since I was 13. So enough with the rambling and sorry, background noise. Here goes. So I'm gonna read a poem by Shamla. She has dedicated this to me. Here goes. It's entitled How I Love You, Dear Friend. I love how we're twin trees in the wild, branches tangled, rough and styled. Yet we forget how deep our roots run, cradling strength like soil to the sun. I love your laugh, a lantern in a storm, cracking
Hmm.
It looks like she got dropped again.
Yeah, she's back. Welcome back. Joanne, can you hear me? Joanne, we can't hear you. I don't know if she can hear me. Hmm. Okay. She did. She sounded fine. Absolutely. It's strange that she keeps getting kicked off. Uh, and Jojo, that was nothing personal. I moved you to see if maybe there was too many people for it to. You're gonna have to send it to me so I can convert it or add it. So I appreciate that. So anyhow, well, I appreciate her sending us an audio, and I really hate to move forward because the next is a whole string of poems that I wanted to do in a consecutive manner. Oh no, I have another poem. I have another poem. I have one more. So let me go and we're going to revamp just a little bit. Jojo, this is a read for you, and this is called Not a Metaphor by T.S. Jojo. So whenever you are ready.
All right. I wrote this for Shamala when we first started, when we first got together. Where did it go?
What's in the room?
Oh, I'm so tired of this. All right. So I wrote this for Shamala when we first got together, and I was trying to make sense of what was going on. It's called Not a Metaphor. I rehearse a line I think is clever while the kettle clicks off. She leans in the doorway, and clever dies first. My breathing goes wrong, not poetic wrong, asthma wrong, like misjudging a staircase. Her arm rests on the counter, a faint knife scar. I don't ask about it. I track it, already ashamed. The room begins to pair things. Her silence with my name, the hum of the fridge with waiting. She barely moves, neither do I. The space between us thickens, visible as dust in sunlight. She almost says something, stops. The almost lands heavier. I think of a river and immediately hate myself. Her knuckle taps the counter twice. Enough. What I expect to end doesn't. My attention keeps sliding forward, past manners, past restraint. I am no longer deciding what this is. I try once more to make her stand for anything else. She exhales. The idea collapses. Nothing is crossed out. I stop reaching for language and stay with the pressure of her presence. Unsymbolized, unforgiving, close enough that even silence is contact. End poem. And I thought I would just read a brief portion of her comment on that poem, if I can find it. She was always communicating subtly back to me. So she says, "You resist the seduction of metaphor and earn the stark honesty of unsymbolized, but there's no need for losing orientation. This is the process, and it doesn't need to lead anywhere." So I'll end with that.
Wonderful read and write, John. Thank you for sharing this with us tonight. It is very much appreciated. And Rex, your thoughts?
I guess trepidation comes to mind, a hesitation itself to step into the moment and breathe within it. It's kind of like you want to look for the understanding, but within that, you kind of step outside the moment and you don't actually live within that moment. So you question yourself and your hesitation, and you you still hope, but you kind of it's a nervousness, I guess, is what I'm thinking of.
I like that. I think it's something that many people can relate to. Great comment. And Laurent, your thoughts?
It's a very moving, very well written piece. I like the entire concept of being inside of a moment or outside of a moment and being able to observe what goes on. The way it's structured, I rehearse a line I think is clever. While the kettle clicks off, she leans in the doorway and clever dies first. I like that because it grabs the moment when the instinct is immediately betrayed by the moment, a moment that is so strong that my breathing goes wrong, not poetic wrong, asthma wrong, like misjudging a staircase. It's filled with the tension and the worry and the thickness of emotion that occurs at a moment like this. It's really well written.
Yes, yes, definitely. Well said there, Lauren. And Bill, your thoughts?
I love the piece. I love the way it read because it read in this very simple moment being captured. And there's like a in your head but out of your body experience is what it felt like to me. Like we know what's happening here. We know that these two people are together. And the way it closed was perfect. It said close enough that even silence is contact. That's a beautiful thing. That's connection. And that's all it speaks of. And I really appreciate the way the piece was written. Well done.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. Well said there, Bill. Yeah, I thought this was really it's thoughtful, it's heartfelt, it's a beautiful share for tonight. The beginning of a relationship of tension and silence that weighs heavy, and the idea of even like an anticipation that happens while both of you are trying to figure things out, and just strong lines throughout and very well done. And back to you, Jean.
I need another minute, Pam.
Sure, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Gene,
No
did you see
problem.
my message that I sent you,
Yes,
Joanne?
that's what I'm trying to handle right now. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I really, really appreciate everyone who wrote for the contest, wrote for the show. I appreciate everybody who's here. It is such a sad loss. It's beautiful to see people coming together, but such a sad loss. And I just, like I said, I know I just can't say it enough how much everybody is truly appreciated. Um, and
Is there
yeah,
anybody else
that's,
to comment, Pam? Maybe someone else could comment.
oh, I thought everybody had
I
commented.
don't know. That's what I'm asking. Never mind. I'm just trying to
All
look
right.
at audio. That's all.
If you want,
Yeah,
I can fill a few minutes of space.
Fine. That'll be great.
Um, so
yeah, go for it.
one of the interesting things about this piece for me is that this was after I wrote it. She decided she was going to become my literary editor, and so she gave me notes. And like originally, it was a burn on her arm, and so then she was like, "No, I want to have been knifed. I want somebody to have knifed me. So I'm making a knife scar." She had a great sense of humor that way.
Hmm.
Also, one of the reasons it was so hard to hear her on her SoundCloud is that she had a very soft voice, and her SoundClouds always reflected that. But it was also on the telephone or on WhatsApp, her voice was always really soft. So she should have known to raise her voice when she was reading that poem, because her voice did not fill a room the way that mine does. Um, so
Almost, John. Almost.
almost.
Almost. Almost there. Just take a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, the next time I ask for uh, her friends to send content or to participate, I'm just gonna ask them to make recordings beforehand.
There you go. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. So this next piece we're going to put up is called "I Love You, Dear Friend," and I'm going to put it back in the room, and I'm going to send it back to YouTube. And now Uh, I'm going to hit that button. Well, almost. And here we go.
How I love you, dear friend. I love how we're twins in the wild. Branches tangle rough in style. Yet we forget how deep our roots run, cradling strength like soil to the sun. I love your laugh, a lantern in a storm, cracking coal with flickering warmth. But I hate that you count every fall, not the light you throw against the wall. I love how you rise like the morning train, a steel hearth rushing through wind and rain. But I hate that you don't see the tracks you lay, carving power through each breaking day. I love how you give like rivers flow, washing others in only what you know. But I hate that you miss your current's might, how you carry the lost through the darkest night. I love your grit like mountain stone. You stand when winds would break the bone. But I hate that you don't feel your climb, each footsteps marking peaks in time. I love you like thunder loves the ground, loud, alive, fierce and unbound. But I hate that you can't hear your own boom, still searching for echoes in a silent room. Oh, babe, I love you loud, I love you true, and I won't rest until you love you too, because I see all that you are, the wild, the light, the strength, the star. Thank you, Shamala.
Wonderful read there, Joanne. It really touches my heart that you were able to provide us with a recording of you reading Shamala's poem that she had written for you. And Laurent, your thoughts?
There's a remarkable amount of insight that Shamala has provided her friend. And that kind of insight comes, I think, only with a deep understanding. And I think that's one of Shamala's strengths is her business, her ability to see within not only others, but herself as well. And I like the way the frustration is expressed throughout. The individual who can't see her own strengths, but Shamala can. I love the way it was expressed. And the last couple of lines, because I see all that you are, the wild, the light, the strength, the star, is a wonderful end. It's a wonderful poem. It really expresses true friendship.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said there. And Bill, your thoughts?
Was such a beautifully personal write that was read in. I'm sorry, I was so taken aback by hearing her read it in the recording.
Silence on my end.
Silence on your end. Nobody can hear me.
Yeah, I
I
can
can
hear you.
hear you, Bill.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I thought I was off there while I was talking. I really, really appreciated it being read by the person it was written for. That was such a beautiful way. And thank goodness, through the grace of whoever, maybe Shamala was looking out for us there, we got it taken care of. Great job by you guys, because it was worth the wait. I really appreciated hearing it. Thanks, guys.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Great comment there, Bill. And Rex, your thoughts?
Well, that title says a lot. In fact, it says it all. Even though she offers up notes to where she might be failing, but she gives gloss where the gloss is apparent and upfront. It's the other little things that she wants to remind a friend of, that you, it's what you don't see, I do, and so therefore I am offering them up to you so that you can see them too as a truth that I offer you because I love you and you are my deepest and dearest friend. And that comes with the idea that most people will just gloss over everything and they don't offer you some truths that you might not want to hear but should hear so that you understand that there is more beneath the underlying note of what makes you special to begin with.
Oh, absolutely. Well said there, Rex. And back to you, Jean.
Okie doke. The next piece. First off, I want to ask Miriam. Miriam, do you want me to bring you onto the stage, or are you happy not being here? I know. I don't know if you know where the private chat is. I'm going to bring you on, and hopefully you'll be able to stick around. Hello, Miriam.
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, just fine, thank you.
Good.
Okay. The next piece I'm going to put up is by Unexpected Bill, and it's called It's Midnight in Malaysia. So we are ready when you are, Bill.
Can I open up, Gene, if you don't mind, just me giving you a little background?
Sure.
Shamala and I had talked about writing a piece together, doing a collab. And this I started while I was waiting on her to clear up her schedule to collaborate with me. And we had planned it for a while, and I was so intimidated because I misspell things and my grammar's horrible. And I knew Shamala, as my friend, how she would be on it. And she did. She was everything. And it was wonderful. But I started this and I sent it to her in a message, and she was very excited. She was like, I can't wait to read that. So she did get to read it in the end after I posted it, and that made me very happy.
Right. Nice.
So without further ado, here we go. Obsidian heavens whisper her name. One line radiates like light from a flame. As diamonds sparkle in the onyx sky, alone she ponders the universal wise. It's midnight in Malaysia. Sol shines brightly on life, light and breezy, grappling with words, very few come easy. Under the sun-soaked American sky, alone he ponders the universal wise. It's midnight in Malaysia. Her quill is expressing feelings and thoughts, how value in life is not sold or bought. Profoundly beautiful to write a life's line, perfect in meter, with hardened in rhymes. It's midnight in Malaysia. His mind wanders through a natural world. Vibrant flowers love light, blossoms unfurl. Ferns, bushes, trees cast shadows in contrast. Words flow like memories, futures or pasts. It's midnight in Malaysia. Time and distance conspire to separate. Each word and each thought must hurry up and wait. Vexed by miles, mountains, rivers, oceans, and streams. Poetic proximity, two souls, one dream. It's midnight in Malaysia. Her friend embraces every yesterday. His friend steadfastly holds tomorrow's gaze. It's midnight in Malaysia. She smiles brighter than the stars. It's midnight in Malaysia. His friendship glows from afar. It's midnight in Malaysia, no matter when or where we are. In poem.
Wonderful read and write, John. Not John, I'm sorry, Bill. Bill. I am so glad that you shared this with us. Thank you so much. And Rex, your thoughts.
It reminds me of a sharing of time, space, and a voice that bleeds through the cosmos. It doesn't matter where you are or how near or how far. It is the fact that there is a sphere that you have the opportunity to share both those thoughts and the ideas that flow through it because of I do like that note of it's midnight in Malaysia and the picture itself offering up that thought and the fact that it is that we have this idea that we can, because of this medium that we all engage in, that it offers up something that we can share across tens of thousands of miles if need be. Yet it can also work for a being next door. But this kind of shares a deeper note of friendship born because of that ideal, this medium where we can see things from another angle because of what has been shared because of this medium.
Oh, absolutely. Well said there, Rex. And Miriam, your thoughts.
I was just beginning to get to know Shamala when I heard that she had passed on. But shortly before that, I had read a poem of hers on in a group show, and it really struck me as so beautiful. And one of the great advantages of all poetry is that we can form friendships with people all over the world. It has been my great pleasure and great frustration to try to persuade my all poetry friends that it may be morning for you, but it is not morning for everybody. And in this poem, it says, it's midnight in Malaysia, no matter when or where we are. And oh, that's just perfect. And I'm just going to make that my mantra now. You know, I will let go of trying to teach other people what time it is, where, you know, let it be what it is. So thank you very much, Bill. This is very meaningful to me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Great comment, Miriam. And Laurent, your thoughts.
I really like what Bill did with this, the midnight in Malaysia line, anchoring the subject, a far distant subject. It honors friendship over distances in a beautiful way. And I can't help but think how friendships like this might have been impossible 200-300 years ago. But if they were, the length of time it would take for messages to go back and forth across the earth in those days is pretty remarkable. Yet here we have the advantage of instant communication, yet the thoughts are eternal. Wonderful poem, Bill. Really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Me too. And great comment there, Lauren. Yeah, thank you, Bill, for sharing this with us. I like the way this is written with the repetition, and I especially like the heart that's put into this, with the way it honors friendship and the light of a love that carries on even after somebody is gone. So thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. And back to you, Jean.
All right. This next piece I'm going to put up is called The Ocean's Palm by Cedar Chapman. And let me hit the button.
The Ocean's Palm by Cedar Chapman. Ravens call in ashen skies. White nails of rain fall back to the sea. Dark currents swirl in patient eddies. The ocean's palm still carries me toward you, as sea foam pounds on barnacled rock, in the way your words once struck me, each vowel and consonant, rattling in my chest, like a wind chime tossing and turning in a willow tree. Dear madam, is there Earl Grey where you are? Or a glass of Pinot Noir, perhaps? Do the stars blink their quiet code above up high? Are you the bright lantern flickering in those westerly skies? When the feast begins, are there Kumamoto oysters, shucked clean of sand, in a place beneath Centauri's sun, where only silence burns, where you can swallow its briny heaven and relive that first kiss with your 8th grade crush? Dew tides brush against iridescent shells, and somewhere between the lightning and thunder, does your laughter swirl like seawater in a conch? I press it to my ear. For a moment, you are here again.
Wonderful right here. Cedar Chapman, thank you so much for the audio. It is greatly appreciated. And Rex, your thoughts?
It's that center section which kind of rings a nice personal tone. Dear Madam, is there Earl Grey where you are, or a glass of Pinot Noir, perhaps? Do the stars blink their quiet coat above up high? Are you the bright lantern flickering those westerly skies? When the feast begins, are there Kumamoto oysters shucked clean of sand, and a place beneath Centauri's sun where only silence burns? Oof. And then right down to that note of do tides brush against iridescent cells. But on the back end of this, with that bite at the conch shell, pressing it to his ear, just so he can hear her voice once more, is a wonderful note of thought and a tribute to the idea of listening to Shamala herself. So, cheers, Cedar. That was wonderfully done.
Absolutely. Well said there. And Laurent, your thoughts?
Ocean's palm is a great metaphor for being carried across the ocean towards someone you're thinking of. The description in the first stanza, raven's caw in ashen skies, white nails of rain fall back to the sea, dark currents swirl in patient eddies, is not filled with sun and blue sky. It's filled with the tempest that too often accompanies travel across the ocean. It's a great way to start the piece, and I do agree with Rex, the more personal portion he quoted. Well done, Cedar.
Absolutely. Great comment, Laurent. And Bill, your thoughts?
I love following up those two voices, by the way. I just commented on that. I hadn't heard you guys live in some time. So, uh, Rex and Laurent, I love hearing you guys. But Rex, you keyed on the same thing I did. My first thing was the thing I took most out of this was Dear Madam, is there Earl Grey where you are? Or a glass of Pinot Noir, perhaps? I love that because it's not a sad thing. It's a happy thing. Is there peace where you are? Is what that's saying to me, and I love hearing that. Is there peace where you are? I love to hear that, and I love the way it progressed. That is the point of this piece that was the most gripping. It was kind of pivoted on that in my mind. So I agree with Rex 100%. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Great comment, Bill. And Miriam, your thoughts? Is Miriam still with us?
Uh,
Oh, there she is. Okay.
Good. What struck me in this is the longing to know Shamala better, and that opportunity seems to have passed, but we are so privileged to have her poetry that we can go over that, and we can hear what her friends who knew her better have to say about her and get to know her that way. And I just wrote a comment on one of her poems. I said to her, Shamala, I know you have passed over, but when I read your poetry, I keep wanting to answer you. And I'm really feeling that tonight.
Oh, amen to that. Well said there, Miriam. Great comments, everybody. All right, and back to you, Phil.
Okay. Laurent, I'm coming to you for this next read. This is called In Memory of a Poet Past by Monty G. And it is ready when you are.
All right. In memory of a poet past, she rests now under the blankets of our tears, adorning many gentle memories of her peers. There can be no passage that could express the deep sorrow our hearts cannot suppress. We shall cherish she whose words remain, our souls embraced in her gentle refrain. Still torn, we must find our heart's peace, repose in her words to never cease. Within her spirit we shall not fail, within our hearts we will recall the joy she left in her wake, her kindness for all to take. Rejoice in her memory, blessed by her legacy. We see her soul pass, her words forever last. End poem.
Great read, Lauren. And what a beautiful, heartfelt write by Monty G. And Miriam, your thoughts?
Monty mentions kindness, and I think that is the word that I have heard most strongly from those who really knew Shamala. And there are very few, if any, values more important than kindness. So I really hold her in great esteem, not just because of her poetry, but because of her kindness.
Absolutely, absolutely. And great comment there. And Lauren, your thoughts?
I was taken by the fact that this seems to emphasize words may come first, and then behind the words we find the person. And that person is someone that we mourn, the deep sorrow our hearts cannot suppress. We shall cherish she whose words remain, our souls embraced in her gentle refrain. It was that first getting to know her, and then getting to know the person behind her words. That I think this poem does such a good job of recalling, and it's not tragic. It's sad, certainly, but it honors her.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said there. And Rex, your thoughts?
I like the way the poem's shaped, first of all. It works a nice turn all the way down. But that opening stanza hits solely on the idea of mourning, but everything else past that celebrates everything that Shamala brought to the table. Souls embraced in her gentle refrain, repose in her words to never cease. The spirit we shall not fall. Within our hearts we will recall that joy she left in her wake, her kindness for all to take. And then the final note, that last stanza, is just a celebration of who and what she was to everybody. So nicely done, Monty.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said there. And Bill, your thoughts?
This was such a very personal, intimate piece, but it fits so well to what we're doing here. It was so well written and concise and gets right to the point, and it acknowledges the passing, yes, in the title and all that. It acknowledges it, but it doesn't beat it to where you feel like it's a sad piece. I smiled, that's a good thing too. Smiling can be grieving just as well.
Oh,
Love, love
absolutely.
the piece.
Yeah, hit me
Yeah.
with the idea of it walks as something that you would offer up at a wake, something to celebrate past the morning notes up front.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Yep.
important to celebrate the memory of someone. And you're right, Rex, that definitely comes through. And great comment, Bill. And that definitely comes through, especially all the way through this poem, but especially in that end stanza. Rejoice in her memory, blessed by her legacy. We see her soul pass, her words forever last. And amen to that. That is so true. Well said there, Monty. Thank you for sharing. And back to you, Phil.
All right. The next piece I have to put up is called In Your Shadow Now by Aaron Panther. And I have an audio for that. So here we go.
Your notebooks still smell like rain. Ink on the table, your half-finished names. You kept a storm in a tea-stained cup and taught the moon how to fill you up. Now the house keeps your pages warm, bent little corners from the nights you were torn. Every line you left behind still cuts the dark and pulls me inside. And I read you slow, like a hand on glass. Every ache you wrote finds a way to last. I live in your shadow now, under every word you vow. You're gone, but you're everywhere, breathing through the air. I live in your shadow now, and I say your name out loud. The poet heart gone from sight, still you burn in me tonight. They come and stand by your worn out chair, like there might be a verse still waiting there. But the silence sings your name, and nothing since has felt the same. You left us lines that won't grow old, paper made lies in the cold. I live in your shadow now, under every word you vow. You're gone, but you're everywhere, breathing through the air. I live in your shadow now, and I say your name out loud. Poet heart gone from sight, still you burn in me tonight. If heaven has a desk, you're writing on it still. If grief has a door, I walk through it at will. You made a home out of breaking apart. Now every page is a lantern in my heart. I live in your shadow now, under every word you vowed. You're gone, but you're everywhere, breathing through the air. I live in your shadow now, and I say your name out loud. Poet heart gone from sight, still you burn in me tonight.
Amazing right there, Aaron, and such a beautiful music choice to go with your lyrics. And Rex, your thoughts?
Well, there were two. Well, everything was wonderful in here, but there were two stands that really stood out for me. And I read you slow, like a hand on glass. Every ache you wrote finds a way to last. I live in your shadow now, under every word you vowed. You're gone, but you're everywhere, breathing through the air. I live in your shadow now, and I say your name out loud. Poet heart, gone from sight, still you burn in me tonight. I was struck with the it was lovingly writ and offered with a sense of heart filled with love, sharing what speaks from deep within. It reminded me of the softer side of Jim Croce in his heyday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can definitely hear that. Great observations there, Rex. Wonderful comment. And Bill, your thoughts?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't hear a single word of it, but I felt every one of them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well done. That was very moving. And I love that it's this spot in the show. You guys placed it perfectly because we needed to have that. We needed to have that injection of wonderful emotion that Aaron did. And I remember how Aaron always was ahead of the game on producing the music and doing that stuff with the AI. And this was remarkable. It was. I
Oh,
enjoyed hearing it and I enjoyed feeling it, and everything that was in there was so perfect. But I really, the In Your Shadow Now, the title of it and the theme, the whole thing of that was such a wonderful play on that in your shadow being a negative thing. Instead, it is a positive thing. Remembering, that somebody was here and they've affected us. That's the beauty of this. And it was well done and well produced. Good job.
absolutely.
Yeah, almost made me
Absolutely.
cry. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I know. I understand that. My eyes keep watering up for sure. Great comment, Bill. And Laurent. Wait, Laurent, did I already have you comment? I apologize for
No,
asking.
no.
Okay, well, your thoughts.
Yeah, Rex had selected the same lines I was going to quote, but the stanza prior, now the house keeps your pages warm, bent little corners from the nights you were torn. Every line you left behind still cuts the dark and pulls me inside. But to requote the next four lines, and I read you slow like a hand on glass, every ache you wrote finds a way to last. The ability to transmit those emotions in the words you leave behind, probably no better testimonial that any poet could hope for. Beautifully written, Aaron. Well produced as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said there, Laurent. Yeah, I think this is just so beautifully written. It's a wonderful tribute to Shamala and her memory. I love the use of simple imagery that is used to remember what someone meant to us with their presence and what it's like to live in the shadows of those memories. And I thought it was really heartfelt what he put in his AN. We miss your spirit dearly, and we're deeply thankful for the legacy of words you left behind. May your ink never run dry. That is just, that is beautiful. Thank you very much, Aaron, for sharing this with us. It is greatly appreciated. All right, and back back to you, Phil.
Okay, hon. Great piece, Aaron. Um, this next piece, Rex, I'm going to ask you to read. This is called Shamala, a tribute by Little Wolf 4. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Shamala, a tribute by Little Wolf 4. Shamala, tonight the late night poets sit a little quieter. Threads open, but one familiar voice does not appear. Some of us still look for a name without thinking. Habit is another form of love. Shamala carried words carefully, never to impress, never to wound. Her poems felt like someone pulling up a chair beside you long after midnight. She belonged not only to our small circle, but to a larger gathering also, a true poetic spirit whose kindness moved quietly through all poetry like candlelight. Now grief moves among us in slow steps. There is sadness in knowing her chair is empty, that another poem will not arrive tomorrow night, that the conversations have been broken open by silence. Yet, even in mourning, we try to remember this. A spirit set free is not a spirit lost. Perhaps somewhere beyond our knowing, she has laid down pain and weariness the way winter leaves the trees. And perhaps what remains now is only lightness, wind, memory, and song. We will remember her in late night hours, in unfinished verses, in the comfort poets give one another when the world grows heavy. Travel gently, Shamala. Your words still linger in poems we stop to reread, in hearts you reached without ever needing to raise your voice. Tonight, we mourn you. And tonight also, we give thanks for having shared the fire with you. End poem.
Wonderful read there, Rex. And what a beautiful write by Little Wolf 4. And Laurent, your thoughts?
Yeah, the emotion in this piece is evident for all to see. I like the opening lines. Tonight, the late night poets sit a little quieter. It gives you a moment to reflect. The lines that struck me strongest, I think, were these: perhaps somewhere beyond our knowing, she has laid down pain and weariness, the way winter leaves the trees, and perhaps what remains now is only lightness, wind, memory, and song. Memorable lines, and a poem I won't soon forget. Very well done.
Oh, absolutely. Wonderful comment, Laurent. And Rex, you did a great read of that. Your thoughts?
I got those same lines as Laurent, but I go a couple lines up. Yet even in mourning, we try to remember this. A spirit set free is not a spirit lost. Perhaps somewhere beyond our knowing, she has laid down pain and weariness the way winter leaves the trees. And perhaps what remains now is only lightness, wind, memory, and song. Love that's quite a lovely flow of words there, Little Wolf. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said there, Rex. Yeah, this is, I don't know, Little Wolf 4 has such a beautiful heart. They wrote this just really amazing, heartfelt poem and responded to my comment, "You are all in my thoughts." I think that is just beautiful. This has strong lines throughout. It's emotive. It pays tribute to Shamala. It's an expression of the process of grief and celebration of her spirit. And there's so many um, strong lines throughout, but I especially like Shamala carried words carefully, never to impress, never to wound. Her poems felt like someone pulling up a chair beside you long after midnight. She belonged not only to our small circle, but to the larger gathering also, a true poetic spirit whose kindness moved quietly through all poetry like candlelight. Wonderful lines, beautifully written, and very well done. And back to you, Phil.
Okay, no. John, I'm coming to you for this next read. This is a piece called You Have Left Us, but Sometimes Gales of Laughter Still Precede Me by Ben Hart.
Thank you, Jane.
Mhm.
This is You Have Left Us, but sometimes gales of laughter still precede me down these lonely halls. By my dear mate, Ben Hart. 1. When autumn comes, I may forget the smell of nettles, but when it gets cold, I will forever recall how your hair broke in silver waves upon these shores of skin and left me shipwrecked. in this dream of breath and bone. Starlings murmurate to stay warm and as protection against predators. Maybe that is why memories of you danced me dizzy at every bruising of the blue. 2. At noon, the carpenter bees rest on islands of allium, earthly sighs of relief that drift dearly ever deeper in hazelnut shade. I suppose these buzzing splinters of a void too must dream of windsong, the eternal call of time-dreamt gods in need of pollinating. Grief whispers, best to let them rest. And for once, we agree. 3. Sundown prunes with tender hand the shadows of our garden. We drink black currant soda as the southern wall hums a summer's glow at every omission of dress. And the cat, curled up in an old fruit basket, sings softly to us of her troubles as she labors through shallows of sleep. And the bats, to whom night is not a non-Newtonian fluid, tumble in and out of existence overhead, and all is well. 4. Like pepper from the vine, you would melt the sun into nightfall upon tongue. Reaching me with your heat, you braided your flame in my veins, because in my skin alone I was chasm and void, jagged and cold. But tangled up in you, there I was lapis, liquid and wild, ocean stone, rippling gold with the weight of a beloved reflection. 5. My ephemeral mortal, immortal, you were lightning in a storm of pollen, grief in a galaxy of lovesome oath. You were the ache that set Owl of Amnion abloom. So here's to you. Good night, my love. I'll be there soon. End poem.
Wonderful read, John, and what a beautiful write by Ben Hart. Thank you, Ben, for sharing this with us. And Rex, your thoughts?
I knew you were coming to me.
Do you need me to go? Do you need to throw someone under
No,
the
no,
bus?
no, no. I'll go.
Okay.
Commenting on this as a whole, on a first read, shouldn't be done. First off, you got to read through this a couple of times to get the whole value that Ben has offered up. But there's some great lines in here. The finishing of that first stanza. Maybe that is why memories of you dance me dizzy at every bruising of the blue. That dawning awareness in the moment. That was lovingly done. And then you get that note to at noon in the second stanza, the idea of what's going on, but that third stanza was outstanding. Sundown prunes with tender hand the shadows of our garden. We drink black currant soda as the southern wall hums a summer's glow at every omission of dress. And the cat, curled up in an old fruit basket, sings softly to us of her troubles as she labors through shallows of sleep. And the bats, to whom night is not a non-Newtonian fluid, tumble in and out of existence overhead, and all is well. Ooh, love that one there, and the finishing fifth one too is uh, it's also that quiet note of not saying a full goodbye. It's like walking into your kid's bedroom at night, giving him a kiss goodnight, and say, uh, have sleep tight, so to speak. Offers up that quiet note of you will always be here within our hearts because you are. something special. You were lightning in a storm of pollen, grief in a galaxy of lovesome oath. You were the egg that set all of Amnion abloom. So here's to you. Good night, my love. I'll be there soon. Uh, it offers up that idea of always knowing, always being, always sharing, never being without.
Oh, absolutely. Wonderful observations, Rex. And I have to agree with you. This is definitely a right that deserves to be read more than once to let the beauty of it fully sink in and the depth of the meaning. So well said there. And Laurent, your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm glad that Rex left number 4 alone. That is the one that I had selected to.
Right.
No, that one is the one that most struck me. Even though the others were beautiful, there's something about number 4, like pepper from the vine. You would melt the sun into nightfall upon tongue, reaching me with your heat. You braided your flame to my veins, because in my skin alone I was chasm and void, jagged and cold. But tangled up in you, there I was lapis, liquid and wild, ocean stone, rippling gold, with the weight of a beloved reflection. Wonderful, wonderful poetry.
Oh,
Yeah, I like that too.
absolutely.
There was a nicely Ben reflects a deep personal thought within that stanza, that connection with the 4. So
Yep. Yep, for sure. Absolutely. Well said there, Rex, and great comment, Laurent. Oh my goodness, this feels so beautifully nostalgic and beautifully personal. Um, it's a wonderfully written vignette, um, amazing imagery, these heartfelt lines. I'm really thankful to Ben for sharing this with us. I like how it speaks on realizing that someone, to me, it speaks on the part of what it speaks on is the idea of realizing that someone will always eternally be with us in our memories of them, in the little moments where there's these things in our lives that bring them forth. And I thought there was beautiful lines throughout, but I did especially like part 3 that starts with sundown prunes with tender hand, the shadows of our garden. And, that's just wonderful. Absolutely beautiful, right? And very well done. And back to you, Phil.
Okay, well, Pam, I'm coming back to you. This next
All
piece is
right.
called Too Soon by Angela Aquino.
All right. Shamala always brought an instant smile, just knowing she was around. A talented poetess, we giggled on our naughty sensual rights and agreed great minds think alike. I teased her about her lengthy poems because of my attention span did not want to miss the beauty in her words. So much to say, her presence will be deeply missed. Shamala, she existed in our hearts. She will forever shine. What an honor to have met a simple, beautiful, genuine, funny, kind soul. My tears are real. My gratefulness for meeting her spark, one that I will carry and pass on, just as she shared. We are better because of the warm aura she freely gave with open arms. End poem. Oh, that is such a beautiful, heartfelt tribute. Oh my goodness gracious, I just love it. Thank you, Angela, for sharing that with us. And Laurent, your thoughts.
Yeah, I like the lines. We giggled on our naughty sensual rights and agreed great minds think alike. I can visualize the moment, because she had a talent for being all things to all people in many ways. And that it was that connectedness, the fact that she existed in our hearts, she will forever shine. As Angela says, absolute truth. Well done, my dear.
Truly is, absolutely. Great comment, Lauren. And Rex, your thoughts.
Oh, I got to roll on that very same line. Lines Laurent took is every now and then on after midnight when she was in the room, she'd let her hair down and have us all howling at what she was dropping in the room. So cheers to that, Angela. Yes, she was. She did have a little on a naughty side, and every now and then she let us see that, and we all had a great bit of fun with it. So nicely done. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was great to see that side of Shamala. And this is a wonderful write all the way through. Yes, and I did smile. I smiled about that, and I smiled about the attention span because I can totally relate to that. I teased her about her lengthy poems because of my attention span. That that did make me smile, and I think it's such a wonderful thing to be able to smile on a tribute show. And I just really like how this pays tribute to Shamala, who is such a wonderful, fun poet and person. Um, who really was, as Angela's title says, too soon. She was lost to us far too soon. So excellent, right, Angela? Very well done. And back to you, Phil.
I knew you were coming back here. Okay. The next piece I have. Okay, Miriam is back. She wanted to be picked up. Miriam, you got to turn off your camera, hon. This next piece I'm going to put up is a collaboration with Laurent and Shamala. And Pam, I'm going to ask you to share the stage. So Laurent,
Absolutely.
it's almost up. Uh, Oh, wrong room, Pam, but I got it. I'm going to the other one. Oh, okay, Laurent, whenever you're ready.
All right, all right. As distraught as I was when I learned of the passing of our dear friend, I had to go back and read some of the. I was lucky enough to have collaborated with her on a couple of times, and one in particular kind of gave me chills. Not that it was prophetic, but it did deal with the amount of time we have on the face of this earth, and it's called Where Time Takes Flight. I can't anchor time to my needs, nor tether the bloom as it seeds. The clock keeps its tireless pace, unmoved by my trials or grace. I beg it to slow in my prime, to pause at the crest of my climb, but the sun keeps drawing its line, a metronome none can confine. I've tried with both reason and plea to bottle the wind, stop the sea, to whisper and barter with fate, but time neither hears me nor waits. Prisoning me to this narrative theme, time lengthens my stride as it deems this tumbling rock gathers no moss, smiling at triumph, forgiving each loss. I need no throne with sword overhead. Damocles knew how fragile the thread, balancing certainty against whimsical fate, so the story was fit for the bard to relate. Time scribes its tale in the dust, indifferent, relentless, and just. It edits with silence and shade, unmoved by the marks we have made. And stories will fade with the breath of kings who once trembled at death. Yet I, with no crown to defend, still fear how my minutes might end. Whether worn yet standing upright, this old tree still responds to the light, the wind songs of uncertain days, and the tenor of thunder well played. For I believe in the gods of the mind, immortal, they foreshadow in kind, yet it is not for man to know his end, to lengthen his span, heaven forfend. And when twilight gathers my name, Let it not be with sorrow or shame. May love be the ink that graces the page where time takes flight, not bound by its age. End poem.
Great read, Laurent, and thank you for bringing this beautiful collaboration to this show that you and Shamala wrote together. Such strong lines throughout, and a really wonderful poem to revisit. And Rex, your thoughts?
Well, this philosophical note to this, but it walks on that note of mortality and that idea of time. Time keeps on ticking, no matter what we do with it or how it reflects upon us. So if we spend all that time worrying about time itself, then we miss out on what we should be using our time for. Um, Even that note, I beg you to slow in my prime, to pause at the crest of my climb. But the sun keeps drawing its line, a metronome none can confine. There's a lot of truth in that, and the idea of trying to reason and plea. That idea of trying to halt time, keep it back, but the more time you spend whispering about what you want, then you miss those moments where your time could be spent more productively. I did like that stanza here. I need no throne with sword overhead. Damocles knew how fragile a thread, balancing certainty against whimsical fate, till the story was fit for the bard to relate. Great lines right there, and also it's on the idea of not not carrying the weight of things that one should put aside because they weigh you down in the moment. Um, and and the last stanza itself. And when twilight gathers my name, let it not be with sorrow or shame. May love be the ink that graces the page, where time takes flight, not bound by its age. That idea of all things shared and conveyed can be enjoyed no matter what link you reserve it to, whether it be from yesterday, 50 years ago, or say 50 years in the future. It is what graces the page that leaves its mark, and in that, we tend to leave something of ourselves within it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well said there, Rex. Yeah, this is a beautifully written collaboration and just really sadly fits well with this poem as it reminds us, how fragile life is and how fleeting time is and how we never know how much time we have. And that we need to appreciate the time that we have with each other. Powerful lines, amazing imagery and metaphors, and just really nice to be able to share this memory together. So excellent, right, Lauren? Thank you for sharing this with us. And back to you, Phil.
Okay, the next piece that I'm going to put up is called The Light You Cast by Letters by Leary. And I have an audio for this. So let me hit the button.
The light you cast, you said without the chorus, darkness stumbles. Now the light you cast has a song, a hymn from our ink that remembers the way your words fill the room at late night. Quiet lessons against the needles of the clock. For there's no late blooming unfed by the root. You planted a tree, warm it with open letters, water it with the wonders you waited for by your own, not in loneliness, asking for more until questions run out. Now I walk by the streets with a drop of your light in my pockets, listening to the sound of my shoes stepping on the fallen leaves as they crunch under my feet. I look at the sky and smile, still hearing the beat. For Shamala, the bright late bloomer who filled the room at night, thank you for your light. To her family and friends, may love surround you. Shanti.
Wonderful read and write, Larry. Thank you for this beautiful, heartfelt write. And Rex, your thoughts?
There's a lot said in this. I like that opening. You said without the chorus, darkness stumbles. Now the light you cast has a song. A great way to open. And everything flows so nicely, but also that now I walk by the streets with a drop of your light in my pockets, listening to the sound of my shoes stepping on the fallen leaves as they crunch under my feet. I look at the sky and smile, still hearing the beat. What a lovely finish to that. A great piece itself. Nice. Thank you,
It
Larry.
truly is. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the emotional impact of this write really stands out. Great comment, Rex. And Laurent, your thoughts?
I like the way light is cast um, as something that is palpable, something you can almost hold. Now the light you cast as a song, a hymn from our ink that remembers the way your words fill the room at late night. Quiet lessons against the needles of the clock. I found that somehow profound. The ability of this poet, to say something like, "Now I walk by the streets with a drop of your light in my pockets." It's just a way of viewing the light she cast, her personality, who she was, her poems, as something that can be carried with us, because poems are things we can carry in our minds. And having listened to those poems, you can look at the sky and smile, still hearing the beat, which is a lovely way of finishing the piece, because it examines briefly the future, where we can continue to enjoy, continue to smile, and continue to honor her as a poet. Very well done.
Amen to that.
I don't know why
Well
I
said.
keep having to leave and come back in. I can never figure out whether I'm getting dropped or not. I never hear any of these. It's very puzzling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said, Laurent. All right. And oh, yes, I comment on this? No, I did not. I did not. All right. Yes, I must comment on this. It is so beautifully written. Heartfelt lines, amazing imagery and metaphors. I really enjoy and appreciate how this rite is about honoring Shamala and carrying forth the memories of them and carrying those memories close to your heart. And I think there's great lines throughout, but I especially like you planted a tree, warmed it with open letters, watered it with the wonders you waited for by your own, not in loneliness, asking for more until questions run out. Now I walk by the streets with a drop of your light in my pockets. Just beautiful lines and very well done by Letters by Larry. And back to you, Jean.
Okay, and Pam, just so you know, Miriam is back in the mix.
Oh, welcome back, Miriam. Miriam, did you want to share any thoughts on the light you cast by Letters by Larry?
The ideas I wanted to express, Pam, you already did it for me. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. Now the next piece that I'm going to put up, Rex, I'm going to ask you to read, and this is a piece called "Mirrors" by Bear Den 7, and whenever you're ready. Do you see it, Rex?
To whom are you speaking?
To Intimitus Rex.
Oh,
That's okay. I don't think he's speaking to me though. Okay. Laurent, could I get you to read this piece? Maybe not. Mm-mm-mm. Pam, how about you?
Yes. Yes. Third time's the charm.
That's what
I
they
can
say.
actually, yeah, I can actually hear you. So there we go. All right. So this is Mirrors by Bear Den 7. It snowed here last night, first day of June, a mere coming home, and I went out there among the melting air, traveling, staying here, singing, boundary memories, connecting dreams, material, discovering adventure, touching, collecting, wild spirit, crystal passion, a breath of sighs inside this unique world summer dawn. I'm sure the mountain I can't see has a thin white veil like promise. This moment, morning, herbs, ice, peppermint, fragrance shifts, dandelion flowers, raiment, earth, dirt, root, place, my old tilted copper pot aged, but a true friend now filled with spring, earth song, a candle to the sun among stars, my pallid wood fire ignites, awakens as a gift from a friend. Are beginning again a new world structure and flow, a bowl of trinkets among gods, while her smile of still life, laughter, whispers beyond navigation. Come inside, out of the unbalanced gray, damp, cold. Let's fall back into love's living essence with what we have. The black crows aren't quite cawing yet, they remain primal. Let's watch the little firelight prayer, flickering experience, vision. Come, come, sip some tea with what sugar I have left. End poem. Ah, that's another beautiful write. And Miriam, your thoughts?
I'm sorry. It has some lovely images in it. I have to tell you, largely because of my vision problems, I have a lot of trouble reading this one with the unusual graphic pattern of the poem. But I did appreciate some very beautiful images in it, and especially enjoy hearing your voice reading the poem. That was very helpful.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you, Miriam, and I completely understand that, and thank you for the comment. And I'm hoping now the guys can hear us. So let's see. Rex, are you with us? Nope, nope, not yet. Okay. Laurent, if you can hear me, your thoughts on the poem.
Yep, I made my way back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. At the beginning of this, it speaks of snow, first day of June, which in this climate is absolutely possible. And there are words: wild spirit, crystal passion, a breath of sighs inside this unique world. We move from snow into dandelion flowers, raiment, earth, dirt, root, place. We speak of cold, we speak of warmth, we speak of fire. And it is that fire, I think, that in so many ways epitomizes her. The black crows aren't quite cawing yet. They remain primal. Let's watch this little firelight, prayer flickering, experience vision. Come sip some tea with what sugar I have left. Sugar, maybe I'm misinterpreting it. The sweetness that is offered in life diminishes with time. And she is perhaps some of the sugar that he has left. I love this piece.
Oh, absolutely. Well said there, Laurent. Great comment. And Rex, welcome back. Your thoughts on Mirrors by Bear Den 7.
Just starting to read it. since I got bounced.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll go ahead and comment um, while reading it. He has a unique style that's all his own, and I really appreciate how he uses spacing in order to give a sense of pause between lines. Amazing imagery and metaphors. I really like the reference to tea because to me, tea is such an important part of so many cultures. And even if it's not a regular part of your culture, like I love sharing tea, coffee. There's something about sitting down with a warm drink and sipping with a friend to, offer that sense of comfort. And this is what this poem does for me. It feels like a friend offering another friend or friends comfort in a time of sorrow, a time of grief, and offering up a reminder that somebody who is gone, we still carry their memory, we still carry their spirit. I thought that was a particularly beautiful ending, but I also really like my palette wood fire ignites, awakens as a gift from a friend, are beginning again, a new world structure and flow, a bowl of trinkets among gods, while her smile of still life laughter whispers beyond navigation. And I mean, all the way through to the very end, these beautiful lines. And he was inspired by the prompt 6, our sighs now travel once more. Um, just an amazing write by Bear Den 7, and very well done. And Rex, do you feel ready to share your thoughts?
Yeah, two things. I didn't get into the whole thing as a whole, but I was struck by the how he spaced this out, and I was wondering if maybe that was purposeful so one could read something else into it. I kind of got dragged into first among the singing, discovering wild spirit inside this unique thin ice. A true earth whispers. A true earth. Wait a minute. True earth awakens as a new world whispers primal vision. I was wondering if he might have dropped in a little extra within this. I'd have to go through it fully and totally, but that strikes me as it might have been an extra bit of thought and placement with the words on the side, so one could read a little bit more into it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said there, Rex. And that could very well be true. It's definitely a poem worth looking into again. And back to you, Phil.
All right. Well, this next piece I'm going to put up is a piece by Quickens Music. It's called Back to the Dirt. And I have an audio for this one. So let me hit the button. Oh, someone is.
Lower, lower, rain on the ground, mud on my hands. We brought you back where the river bends. Morning came cold, sky hungry, boots hit mud, no words to say. Pine smoke curled, wet leaf shook. I held your name like a burning book. 4 hands carried, 2 hearts broke. 1 black coat, 1 less smoke. Stone stood still and leaned in. Roots reached up, left in on my friend. I did not come to let you go. I came to place you soft and low. Back to the dark, back to the rain, back where the earth remembers your name. Back to the dirt, back to the root, back to the stone under both my boots. Back to the rain, back to the pine. I give you to the ground, but I keep you in mind. Back to the dirt, friend of mine. Friend of mine. no bit skin. Day turn night, shovel hit rock, breath hit smoke. Somebody cried, nobody spoke. I heard the creek drag leaves through black, like the whole damn world wanted you back. I put my palm flat to the ground, felt something low, stop moving around. I did not come to make peace clean. There ain't no cleaning a goodbye scene, just mud on cuffs, blood in the chest. One last place for your bones to rest. To the dirt, back to the root, back to the stone under both my boots. Back to the rain, back to the pine. I give you to the ground, but I keep you in mind. Back to the dirt, friend of mine. Rain knows, stone keeps, root holds. Friend sleeps, rain knows, stone keeps. I stand, you sleep. I laid you down with a Moscow stick, with a black of drinks and the Beatles click. Not gone clean, not gone far, just under root, just under star. I said your name, it hit the trees, came back low on the river breeze. I said your name, the dirt replied, and something in me sat down and cried. No crown, no light, no golden gate, just wet black ground in the hands of fate. No song too pretty, no prayer too tall, just one friend standing while another one falls. Mud, mud, rain, rain, root, root, bone, bone. You go down, down. I go home. Back to the root, back to the stone under both my boots. Back to the rain, back to the pine. I give you to the ground, but I keep you in mind. Back to the deep, back to the place where the old roots sleep. Back to the rain, back to the pine. The ground takes your body, but it don't take your shine. I still see her there, barefoot in the rain, digging through the dark, like she remembers my name. We brought you back where the river bends. I put my hand on the dirt and said, sleep now, my friend. Sleep now, my
What a wonderful piece by Quicken. Pam, you want to start us off?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness gracious. This is just so powerful. It just hits hard all the way through. I'm so thankful that Quicken shared this with us. Strong visceral imagery and metaphors throughout. I like how this speaks on the grieving process and what it feels like to let go. And it's also this really heartfelt tribute to someone who is a wonderful friend and a wonderful poet and will be greatly missed. I really thought this had strong lines throughout, but I especially liked the stanza that started with, I laid you down where the moss grows thick, where the black earth drinks, and the Beatles click, not gone clean, not gone far, just under root, just under star. I said your name, it hit the trees, come back low. I mean, oh my goodness. I should at this point just finish reading that, but I won't because there's no need to hear me read that whole stanza when, Q put so much power into it. So just an amazing write and great music choice. Very well done. And Gray, I see you've joined us. Welcome. Glad you could join us. Good to have you here. And did you get a chance to hear Back to the Dirt by Quicken's music?
Just the end of it, really. I'm just reading it now, so if you could come back to me, that would be great.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Rex, your thoughts?
Great piece. that opening note was strong, and I like the background with dum da dum 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 da dum dum. That idea of almost a chanting note, offering up this as something to be fully remembered in its vast scope and pace. But you hit that one with I did love that. I laid you down with the moss grow stick, but also there was a note to this one here, which kind of hits hard. Back to the dirt, back to the root, back to the stone
You have
on
a
both
show
my
tonight?
boots, back to the rain, back to the pine. I give you to the ground, but I keep you in mind. Now that says quite a bit. So
Oh,
cheers, cheers, quick, and this was absolutely bangers. So
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, those lines that you read, I have to agree. They're just really strong. Great comment, Rex. And Miriam, your thoughts?
I really enjoyed the repetition in this poem, and not just words repeated, but the way that they are used in slightly different orders. It's kind of like a snow globe. He puts the words in the snow globe and shakes it up, and it comes up in a different order. All meaningful, but the meaning has changed. And there was one part in here that I particularly loved, and I'm trying to find it again. Well, I'll just have to paraphrase it because I can't find it. It was the part about the earth remembering your name. I thought that was really beautiful. And when I go to planning what's to happen to my body after I die, I am going to remember that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great comment, Miriam. And Gray, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It's reverential. It's so image filled. The song was great from what I heard. Um, but back to the dirt, back to the root, back to the stone under both my boots. Back to the rain, back to the pine. I give you to the ground, but keep you in mind. Um, somebody embeds themselves in your life, and you feel their spirit even though they're gone. And I thought that was beautiful.
Absolutely, I have to agree. Great comment there, Gray. And back to you, Phil. Um, are you on mute, Phil?
Well, yes, I was. I had to do it at least once. Um, yes, yes. Gray, I'm going to come to you for this next piece. It's called Shamala by Justin DeWolf.
Okay,
Thank you.
alrighty, 1 second here. All right, Shamala by Justin DeWolf. Sweet lady, poet, friend, walk lightly in honor and peace. The love and kindness you gave becomes you, immortal words to warm our hearts, and your living words to hug our minds. Kind soul, be without care, all our loving memories are wind for your drifting sails. End poem.
Great read, Gray. And what a beautiful, a heartfelt brevity here by Justin DeWolf. And Rex, your thoughts?
that ending had me thinking of fair winds and following seas. That note of may your journey be fruitful, peaceful, and well remembered. So walks on that note of honoring, but also letting one go into that good night gracefully. With that thought of the wind for your drifting sails, the idea of may you linger long within that wind, so we may remember every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said there, Rex. And I see Robbie has joined us. Welcome, Robbie. And your thoughts on this poem by Justin?
I'm just gonna go back to it here. Sorry, I'm having a little trouble focusing tonight.
No problem. Gray,
Yeah.
your thoughts on this poem by Justin?
You know, she really
I mean,
did emote. Oh, sorry, am I unmuted?
no, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go
You know,
ahead.
she really did emote a sense of peacefulness and trust. There was something very special about her energy that you could feel through just chat. Really, I mean, I think I heard her voice once, but I don't know. There was just something about her presence in the chat that really made it peaceful and serene. So I enjoyed her company. Well done, right?
I agree. I agree. Great comment. And yes, Justin's right, does express that well. Um, and Miriam, your thoughts?
Oh, hang on.
Extra word. It's a very well done brevity, and really appreciate that it's a little.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great comments, everybody. Um, and back to you, Jean.
Okay. Okie dokie. Next piece I have is Cosmogenesis by Robbie's Poetry. Give me a second, Robbie. I gotta put it up. Here we go. I keep going to the wrong room again. Okay. Whenever you're ready, Robbie.
Okay. First there was the void that was not void, and then the light that brought forth life in its path, as its wings of enlightenment took flight. The one that is not one, that is everything yet singular, danced a dance that shook the void itself, dancing the steps that shook the cosmos with trembling and frightening might. First there was the star, the furnace of life, and life-giving fire. And then there was the planet, ever-wandering vagabond of the universe. It fell under the influences of stars' gravitational might. No fight or no fight or flight for this cosmic wanderer, as it dances as a partner with its star. Their interaction, a prelude to bring forth life, abundant as smells and sounds, as citywide bazaar. First there was the silence, then there was the word that gave life to life itself, the essence of every noun a framework, the vitality of each verb and action, noun and verb speaking together to announce creation itself as it blossomed forth in fullest bloom. First there was the poet, then there was the musician, the poet speaking the scene, the musician playing the actors of that scene into being. And I remember the shaman, the magician, the lama, the mystical beings born under planets wandering, under the stars' wondrous light. And I give thanks to the cosmic dancer up above for dancing with tremulous fervor in both the darkness and the light. I think in awe upon your gentle visions and your dancing, the dance that shook the cosmos itself and gave us light and life. And for those who can't see because they're listening, I have Shamala's name spelled out in shaman, magician, and lama. And this is very much about her view of the universe. And my musical piece that I had put forth in the show reflects the poem because the the singing bowls are the creation of the universe, and when I played on the tongue drum, that was the actual things being created. And when you hear like the frenzy of notes or the notes getting faster and faster, that's like the creation going faster and faster, and then it fades out and it becomes more gentle. So like the poem and the music are sort of paired up.
Great read and write, Robbie. Thank you for sharing this with us. Very much appreciated. And Rex, your thoughts?
Well, now that you went down that road, Robbie, I was going to hit on that note, and I remember shaman, the magician, and llama. I was going to hit on that first, but you hit the bit on that with that. I like where you went with this. That opening note of first there was the void was not void, and then light. That opening note of the world coming into being, the cosmos coming into being, and the idea of its expansion and the thought of the universe as a whole, the cosmos, and how everything works within that. And then you hit on there was first there was the star, the furnace of life and life-giving fire. Then there was the planet, ever-wandering vagabond of the universe. It fell under the influences of stars' gravitational might. No fight or flight for this cosmic wanderer, as it dances as a partner with its star. Their interaction a prelude to bringing forth life, abundant as smells and sounds at a citywide bazaar. Creation itself, the uh, formation of things, and how everything comes into being itself. And then the back end where you spelled out her name, you kind of hit on that note: mystical beings born on the planets wandering, on the stars' wondrous light. And I give thanks to the cosmic dancer up above for dancing with tremulous fervor in both the darkness and the light. I think in awe upon your gentle visions and your dancing, the dance that shook the cosmos itself and gave us light and life. Nicely done, Robbie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said there, Rex. Great comment. And Gray, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the wordplay with her name. That was spot on. But the whole thing is really reverential. It's endearing. You know, you can feel Shamala's energy emanating throughout the right. So that's a beautiful thing. Very respectful and well done, Robbie. Great read as well.
Absolutely. Great comment, Gray. And Miriam, your thoughts?
Miriam dropped Pam.
Oh, sorry. My eyes did not catch that because I was looking away at a different screen. All right. Yeah, just an amazing write, Robbie. I like the wordplay. Love that this is a heartfelt tribute to Sharmila and her spiritual heart that she shared with so many of us. I just great lines throughout and very well done. And back to you, Phil.
This next piece I'm going to put up is called Will You Be There? And this is by Shamala, read by her friend Shamini. So let me put up the link in the room and start the audio.
This is called Will You Be There by Shamla. This blotted cocoon, a long-waited flame. 4 moons since I left, yet nothing's the same. My brother, my mirror, just 2 years behind. Squinted shrills of laughter still wafted to mind. We grew side by side, 2 rivers that weave. Castles we build, washed away we grieve. Then came the youngest, 9 years below, a tender new light in the warmth we outgrew. We bathed him in wonder, wrapped him in skies, traded our pennies to lift up his eyes. Each broken trinket, each fleeting delight, we gave him our all, from rays to moonlight. Through splitting of homes, through quiet despair, we stood, the 3 musketeers, fierce and aware. When I left for India, chasing my son, the youngest he trailed, too innocent to outrun. He bellowed down the halls, clutching the ache. I cried through the clouds, my heart fit to break. Never without them, they are stitched to my soul. Now his word arrive, mending a hole. 16 and brave, with wisdom to spare, he pens me a rhyme, a soft psalm prayer. Michael Jackson's Will You Be There? The melody that start a promise so rare. End poem. In the author's note, Shamla wrote, "It's amazing how time flies, yet music has a way of keeping memories alive. Growing up in Malaysia, we didn't have much access to foreign music as teenagers, so we mostly relied on movie soundtracks. While many songs and memories come to mind, nothing compares to this one. My brothers and I loved the movie Free Willy. Then it came out when it came out in 1993. So this song wasn't just a heartfelt plea. It became a powerful reminder of the time we shared together. Shamla has always been a big sister figure to all of us, just like a sun charging everyone around her with the warmth of her radiant smile and bursting laughter. There was wisdom in her every conversation, humor in her every joke. Yet her words were always carefully chosen to comfort and soothe. She had a way of calming everyone's worries, almost instantly, like a cool breeze on a difficult day. It was often food that brought us together, and Sham's magical touch could turn the simplest ingredient into something truly delicious on the table. She was always generous with her time, her words, her presence, whether it was laughter shared, meals enjoyed, or songs sung together. The memories are endless. I only wish those moments could have continued a little longer. Thank you, Sham, for the love you gave so freely, the joy you brought into our lives, and the memory we will carry in our heart forever. You'll be deeply missed and lovingly remembered.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness gracious. That was so wonderful. Thank you, Shimi, for reading Shamala's poem. It was just wonderful to hear it in your voice. And thank you for taking that extra time to read the AN and share your heartfelt thoughts on a good friend. And Robbie, your thoughts.
Well, this is simply beautiful in sentiment. It really touched me for how well it reminded me how especially like we take for granted, well, we see Michael Jackson every day and that, but not everyone does, right? Every country is different than that, and there's a certain joy, I think, when you discover another country's artists and such, and you really and when you're sharing that with your siblings, and that's the thing with the siblings too, that really touched me because yeah, I've not had the closest relationships in my own family, and but rather than begrudge that or bemoan it, I'm touched by when I hear other examples of when it is close, and this had a certain fantastical sort of feel to it, like fantastical in terms of how they felt about it and how they regarded it, like the sandcastles and that. It made something that was like every day into something very magical.
Oh, absolutely. Well said there. And Rex, your thoughts.
Well, those first three stanzas walk at a childhood together. How delightful it was, and what was shared and given in the moment. That fourth stanza kind of hits on the growth and the pain that comes with growth when one decides to follow their dreams, so to speak. And then that fifth stanza uh, kind of hits the pain right in the middle. He bellowed down the halls, clutching the ache. I cried to the clouds, my heart fit to break. Never without them, they are stitched to my soul. Now his words arrive, mending a hole. So you go from that sadness right into that last one of remembrance of all that was shared between the three in those younger days, and they still hold memories warm because of the music that they did get a hold of. It had a healing balm that they could share between each other.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing what music can do to bring people together. Great comment, Rex. And Gray, your thoughts.
Oh,
Awesome.
sorry about that. I was on mute. But you know, her beautiful soul shines throughout the right. You know, it's just such a smooth flowing right that has no stutter. You know, it's just a beautiful right throughout. And sorry, I'm trying to make my way back to the poem. Um, but you know, it tells her life story and the love that and the connection in that story, the loss, you know, the separation, but also the connection and the beauty of that connection. So I thought it was a wonderful write, R.I.P. Shamala.
It truly is. Truly is. Great comment, Gray. And back to you, Phil.
Okay, Monarch Soul is here, and her piece is up next, so I think she's here to read it. So, hello, Monarch.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello,
Can you
Monarch.
hear me?
We
Hey,
can.
hey.
Hi. I'm
Um,
doing good.
Very nice. Now, these next two pieces that I'm putting up were written for both Shamala and JoJo. So, this first piece is called Bread by Monarch Soul. And whenever
Okay.
you're ready, Monarch.
Alrighty. Um, Slight change. I asked Jojo to help me with this one.
Hi, everybody.
Okay.
Hi. Warm milk and sugar. A perfect start. Milk mustache before the jug goes back to the fridge. Add the yeast. Set aside. Mixing bowl from the bottom corner cabinet. Cool to the touch. Warm my fingers. Touch your cheek. Soft smile.
Open the baking cabinet. Pull down flour and salt.
I skip the sifter. Mom's method. Just use a fork after everything is in the bowl.
But everything is measured. I insist.
I smile. You hand me the scale.
240 grams of flour.
I poke you. It's 3 cups. But on the scale it goes. Glance at the yeast mixture. Thin layer of foam. It's working.
I reach for the butter and the sour cream. They're already on the counter, coming to room temp.
I gently shoo your hand away when you reach for the scale. 2 tablespoons and 3/4 cup, I say.
I scowl teasingly. 30 grams and 175 milliliters.
I hand over the scale, smiling. While you're busy, I eyeball 1.5 teaspoons of salt into the bowl and quickly whisk with a fork.
I look up briefly. Was that 9 grams?
I gently elbow your arm. Close enough.
Warm foam pools in the dry crater.
Hands in the bowl now. Fingers pull and press until it holds. Push, fold, turn. Again, again, again.
Elastic under our palms. Resisting, then yielding.
We cover it with a towel. Leave it warm on the counter. It swells quietly, doubling without permission.
I press a finger in. The indentation lingers, slowly rises back. See, I say.
I smile. It was always going to. Oven heat, golden dome. Crust crackling as it settles. Knife through resistance. Steam escapes, warm against my wrist. Soft interior, open.
I tear the first slice with my hands.
I don't measure the butter. End poem.
End poem.
Great, right, Monarch, and wonderful reads, Monarch and JoJo. Um, And Rex, your thoughts?
It bites at balance. That note of uh, one who strictly adheres to a recipe and the idea of how the recipe works as a whole, while you look at a generation that never used recipes as a whole. They learned as hand-me-downs from their parents, from their mothers, and it was always a balance of knowing how much to add, when, and it was never really a measurement of the teaspoon or a half cup or whatever. It was seeing and knowing because it's been done that way for generations. So you get a look at two sides of the same coin, and you get a little bit of tug and pull, a little bit of humor, and the balance between each other as you walk that note of how the bread is made. Hey, why have you? Was that correct at 9 grams? Well, hey, believe me, I know what I'm doing, so to speak. And then you get the other angle. Yeah, I too know what I'm doing. So you get that little tug and pull, a little bit of flavor, as well as the humor that rolls into it, because you can't argue one against the other because they both work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this one was an absolute joy to hear for sure. Um, Great comment, Rex. And Gray, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the conversational aspect to it, and I mean, it's applicable in life. You can make a recipe out of that. Um, so it made me crave a oven fresh homemade bread. I mean, there's just something about that smell. It just draws you in like the wolf to the pie in the window in the kitchen. I mean, in the cartoons as a kid, you kind of wade through the air, you finding your way to that source of smell. And so I was the wolf in the air at that moment in this poem. So great, nice job, great read, you two.
Oh, I have to agree. Wonderful comment, Gray. And Robbie, your thoughts?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I enjoyed the conversational tone too. And I think like baking and cooking are there's just something about it. It's just there can be an intimacy in it. I don't know what it is. And so I like that was the background for this. And I just think of so many times like in movies and that where two people are cooking and baking together, and there's a beauty in when two people balance each other out, like they're opposites but in a way that brings out beauty. And I think that this poem had expressed that. And so I really like the way all the elements mixed together with the kitchen setting, and especially like the playfulness, like, oh, are you sure that was 3 cups? It's like, yeah, don't worry about it, that sort of a thing.
Yes, absolutely. Great comment, Robbie. Yeah, this is just an amazing back and forth, right? It's so heartfelt and so playful in its presentation. Beautifully written and very well done. And thank you, Monarch, for sharing it with us. And back to you, Phil.
Okay. And good night, Gray. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Okay, this next piece is a piece by Ben Hart, and this is called. Give me 2 seconds. What a cup of apple tea now sings to me at midnight. And I have an audio for this. So let me hit that button.
What a Cup of Apple Tea Now Sings to Me at Midnight by Ben Hart. For Jojo and Shamala. From steam unfold unto this rain-soaked void, elegies of spring, of blossom, the dust-confused shrapnel perfuming the dew and every permission of skin, of your favorite mile to the sea, where the mayflies now waltz over roiling leagues of nettle and jewelweed, of the forests, at last shedding amber at the final toll of a snowdrop, where winds give chase to themselves, and the spent light recounts to you its origins in constellations of anemones. And for a moment we were driftwood, linen wrapped and heaving, a wilderness, making a last stand against its corporeal frame, against returning to the dream. And there I went, down the rivers of time cut across the palms of the hands of the children of man, home to an ocean of touch. End poem.
Wonderful read and write, Ben. Thank you for sharing this with us. It's a beautiful write, honoring both Shamala and Jojo. And Robbie, your thoughts?
Well, if there's anybody who could write a good poem in commemoration of Shamal, I think it's Ben. You know, because he has that dreamlike quality and very a quality of wonderment, and you definitely feel that in this poem here as well. And I feel like this is a poem that Shamala would, when she's reading it, like she would enjoy kind of going through. I kind of think of like, you know, like a poem being like a forest or a field, and she would enjoy going through that forest in this poem. And I think I would think that she would, would have, like in reading anything else of Ben's, that she would enjoy that. And it was enjoyable to hear the read, and somehow with his format, the format of the words kind of tumbling, I think fits with tonight's show somehow, with because all our thoughts are all our thoughts are there, but they're kind of tumbling around a bit because we're all thinking about Shamala tonight, and we're all remembering different things about her, and it's like some of it's the same and some of it's different, and so it's all kind of tumbling around.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well said there, Robbie. Great comment. And Rex, your thoughts?
He's got his voice was nice, gentle, and it fit the emotion drawn out in this. But you got to start with his AN. For Jojo and Shamala, have you ever seen the way steam bridges a two-dimensional existence into a three-dimensional one? How it lays there upon the surface of the water, painting itself into shapes, almost as if from these shapes it untwists and blossoms into a third dimension and then into none. Maybe that's what death will be. Ooh, nicely said there. I did like this middle section was I thought was pretty cool. Um, of every of your every favorite mile to the sea where the mayflies now waltz over roiling leagues of nettle and jewelweed, of the forest at last shedding amber at the final toll of a snowdrop where winds give chase to themselves, and the spent light recounts to you its origins in constellations of anemones. I like that thought of offering up the stars as anemones. And for a moment we were driftwood, linen wrapped and heaving. Oof. Quite the piece there, Ben. And thank you for the SoundCloud. Should do more of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Great comment, Rex. I have to say, yeah, it was wonderful to hear this read in Ben's voice. He should definitely make more SoundClouds when he writes for shows. Amazing imagery and metaphors, just a beautiful lines throughout. This has a warmth to it that is so special, that it's a strong write, beautifully written, and very well done. And back to you, Phil.
Okay. This next piece, Rex, I think I'm going to ask you to read this one. This is called
Okay.
Still the Ash Falls by Shamala. And whenever you are ready.
Still the ash falls by Shamala. He sits where the charcoal clouds choke, where the sky has split and longs for blue. Ash settles on his shoulders where it belongs. Shiva watches, not with distance, but with stillness stitched with storm. The fires do not ask permission, they take names, homes, the soft breath of sleeping children, and turn them into a language no one wants to understand. There is no joy here, no hidden sweetness in the breaking, no lessons in the bodies left unburied. The tomorrow does not delight, only the long echo of loss stretched across the night. He does not bless the blade, he does not follow the flag. He sees the hands that lift them, one after another, until cruelty learns to walk in human steps and talks in human certainty. Without the many, darkness would stumble. Without the chorus, it would forget its song. Yet the voices rise. A mother calls into dust. A child answers with nothing. The wind carries both and lays them gently, their voices unraveling at his feet. He does not turn away. His drum is quiet. Not because there is nothing to say, but because everything is breaking at once, and even his rhythm would feel like a lie. The Tandava waits, not out of mercy, but out of measure. How much can the world lose and still remember itself? He closes no eyes, he offers no easy end, only this, a present that does not flinch, a witness that does not forget, a silence that holds every cry until hands unclenched, until voices fall silent instead of rising to meet the storm. And still the ash falls. And poem.
Great read, Rex. And the pieces that were inspired by that poem are as follows. And I have an audio for this first one. It's called Journey to Ithaca Concluded by Eric Svensson. And let me hit the button.
Journey to Ithaca concluded. A beloved poet's journey to Ithaca concluded. She sailed her 7 sentient seas with open-end curiosity. 7 energetic chakra centers explored, from red tippy-toe childhood roots infused with strident blue voice box communication to adulthood's white lotus crown chakra. Lystragonians, Cyclops, and angry Poseidon weren't feared. Soft, sensual, siren-syllabled, and poetic symbols sang them into oblivion. Shiva's Damaru drum no longer silent, a beloved prodigal daughter returns home. Tandem they dance, blue Danube was the Tandava through the stratosphere. Aurora Borealis pulled out all stops for her homecoming, honors Shamala's ending, celebrates her endurance, consecrates her rebirth into pure golden soul elixir. Prodigal Parvati, the poetess, back home safely, her energy, nourishment, harmony, love, beauty and devotion counteract Shiva's austere, world-denying nature. Firebird Phoenix, she rises beside Shiva. Ash and sackcloth could not contain her soul essence. Earthly raiment whittled down by duality's demanding tedious dance. We poets, still on our protracted journey to Ithaca, shall not be bogged down by weighted albatross weariness. Shamala's life celebration, good cause to end dire doldrum days. Let sentient remembrance fill our sails with fair trade winds, Lystragonians, Cyclops, and angry Poseidon not feared, our soft, sensual, siren syllables and poetic symbols will sing them into oblivion. End celebration poem.
Wonderful read and write, Eric. I love the way that you made this a celebration of her life. And Rex, your thoughts?
Oh, Eric pulled out all the stops. I love that picture. He pulled out all the stops with this, and I can't take it apart, but there's some great lines in each stanza. 7 energetic chakra centers explored from red tippy-toe childhood roots infused with strident blue voice box communication to adulthood's white lotus crown chakra. Nice touch with that one. And uh, then that second stanza on down kind of rings really, really strong. Shivers the Maru drum no longer silent. Our beloved prodigal daughter returns home. Tandem they dance. Blue Danube waltz the Tandava through the stratosphere. Aurora Borealis pulls out all stops for her homecoming, honors Shamala's ending, celebrates her endurance, consecrates her rebirth into pure golden soul elixir. Oof. And more. Ash and sackcloth could not contain her soul essence, earthly raiment whittled down by dualities, demanding tedious dance. Damn. He dipped hard and did quite well with this piece.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Great comment, Rex. And Robbie, your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting that with Shamala and then Eric, that it's like this different but the same kind of. Sometimes, and it's interesting when poets are like that. When the works are different, but there's some essence that's the same, and one felt more almost precise, and one felt in a way like looking at the cause, like the that cosmos or that yeah, it more almost more precisely, and the other one was a little more wandering or vagabond, and actually kind of reminded me of how Spock had his human and his Vulcan half, and yeah, the two poems complemented each other quite well side by side, and it's interesting to hear two takes on the Spockisms like that by two poets that again that I consider like similar but different in a way, and this really holds a very special place in my heart because as many know, I actually did the one collab I did with Shamala was one with Spock, and that contest, and that was just fun beyond words, and Spock and Data, yes, Spock and Data, I'll never forget that, and it was just just fun beyond words, and that whole experience is something that when I think about it holds a very special place in my heart, and so it was nice to be reminded of that through this side by side of Spock.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great comment, Robbie. Yeah, this was definitely a strong write that pays tribute to Shamala and to her spirit and to her memory. So nicely written. Thank you for sharing it with us, Eric. And back to you, Phil.
Nice. Nice comments, everybody. This next piece that was inspired by Shamala's piece, Still the Ash Falls, is called Ash to Ash by Mustafa Hakan. And Pam, can I get you to read this one for us?
Absolutely. I would be happy to.
Thank you.
All right. Let me just refresh and there we go. Ash to ash. In the blue world, as far as the eye can see, the pier you built in our hearts, you lie softly wrapped on the beach, where you are now sprinkled. If you rise on the wings of the secret, I will come again one day. We have not forgotten his name, nor his memory covered with dust. End poem. That is a beautifully written brevity by Mustafa Hakan Seliker. And Rex, your thoughts?
I like, well, ash to ash does offer up a note from whence we came to whence we go, and that note, the pier you built in our hearts. You lie softly wrapped on the beach where you are now sprinkled. If you rise on the wings of the secret, I will come again one day. We have not forgotten his name, nor his memory covered with dust. I like the thought within that, sprinkled on the beach and the wings of the secret, and I will come again one day. It's lovely.
It truly is. Great comment, Rex. And Robbie, your thoughts?
There's a certain softness to this, or an animism that was kind of soft with the beach and what it represents. Uh, rise, yeah, it's like if you rise on the wings of the secret, and oh yes, that's nor that's there. We have not forgotten his name, nor his memory covered with dust. And is this like this feeling? This I've always been fascinated by animism, where it's like the nature itself, the scene is carrying memory, carrying experience, and that's what I kind of felt here, especially towards the end. I think there's like I would say there is different kinds of animism or different kinds of personifications and such, and I think this held something that was particularly beautiful in that regard.
Absolutely, I have to agree. Wonderful comment. And back to you, Phil.
Okay, John, I'm coming to you for this next read. It's called The Art of Remaining by Shamala. Whenever you're ready.
Thanks, Gene. So when Gene and Pam first asked me to help out with in our craft or sullen art, I think it was my first show. It was an Edith Wharton contest, and got down toward the end, and I read this piece, and I asked to read it tonight because when I first read it, I fell madly, deeply, and irreversibly in love with Shamala. This is called The Art of Remaining. I stayed. That is the wound no one prepares you for. Leaving with mercy, clean cuts, clear exits, grief with an ending. I could vanish with grace, fold my feelings into suitcases, teach my heart to travel light. But staying is slow violence. It asks you to wake beside what once wanted you, to sip mornings that taste like memory, to smile through conversations that skim the surface, because depth now feels dangerous. I learned how to loosen love without letting it fall, how to keep hands busy so they wouldn't reach, how to be present without being felt. You call this maturity. I call it disciplined disappearance. I'm surrounded by voices, by warmth, by ordinary miracles, and still I starve. Solitude does not arrive alone. It brings its twin, the quiet terror of being known once and tolerated now. Growing older did not teach me how to let go. It taught me how to stay while slowly subtracting myself, to remain without timber, to endure without desire, to be chosen out of habit, not hunger. I keep company. I keep score. I keep silent. There are no doors left to close, no dramatic departures. Only this daily discipline of loving less loudly, of shrinking so the room feels peaceful. And this is the cruelest lesson. You can survive everything you lose, but surviving what never leaves, what fades while touching you, facing you, what touches you without reaching, that is the ache that ages you. End poem.
Wonderful read. And what a beautiful piece. Um, okay. Robbie, I'm going to come to you for this next one. And this is called The Locksmith. And this was inspired by The Art of Remaining by Shamala. So whenever you're ready. This is
Okay.
by Ray the Chef, by the way. Sorry.
Right. The Art of Remaining by yes. Okay. The Locksmith, inspired by the Art of Remaining by Shamala. I am a house with boarded windows, where screams echo down locked hallways. A mansion once full of music, now silent beneath dust-heavy chandeliers. Each room I enter is a mirror, but none reflect me anymore. My mind is a prison with velvet walls, soft enough to muffle my cries, firm enough to keep me still. Hope tries the doorknob daily, but it always rattles, never turns. I am tired of watching the handle twitch. My therapist, she's a locksmith with bleeding hands, turning keys made of empathy and patience, in locks forged from my silence. She sets chairs like cheese pieces and speaks in riddles meant to teach me how to checkmate my demons. But my ghosts don't play fair. They hide behind my smiles, climb into my lungs when I try to speak, and wrap their arms around my will until it gasps like a dying flame. I see the way she leans in, as if she can reach inside and untangle my storm. Like a sailor stitching sails in a hurricane. But even Noah couldn't save someone who builds his own flood. She calls it trauma, calls it pain. I call it wallpaper. It's been here so long, I've forgotten what use to be beneath. Some days I want to tell her, you are not a locksmith, you are a gardener in winter, tending soil too cold to bloom. The seeds you plant are beautiful, but they die the moment you leave. But what she doesn't know, what she'll never understand, is that the longer she stays, the more the place becomes hers. She came with keys, confident hands and soft eyes, but now her voice echoes like mine, and the walls hum with her questions. I watched the moment she crossed over, when concern turned to obsession, when she started bringing pieces of me home. My shadows stitched themselves to her spine. Now she sits across from me, but I'm the one listening. She's unraveling, thread by thread, digging for doors in a mind that isn't his anymore. She came to save a drowning man, and now I watch her sink in quicksand he called solid ground. End poem.
Great read, Robbie. And this is such a powerful and emotive write by Ray the Chef, and just brilliant imagery, and just the way it speaks on the pain of heartbreak and of letting go and saying goodbye to someone who is passing from this world into the next is truly touching. And Rex, your thoughts?
Uh, those first two stanzas are expressive. Then you walk into that note, my therapist, she's a locksmith. So there's a quiet note of understanding. Yeah, there is an issue that might need solving, but the whole way down from that point is that note of walking into something she calls it trauma, calls it pain. I call it wallpaper. It's been here so long, I've forgotten what used to be beneath. Um, and then that thought, some days I want to tell you are not a locksmith, you are a gardener in winter, tending soil too cold to bloom. The seeds you plant are beautiful, but they die the moment you leave. And then you get that note of transference where uh, she's so inured into helping him and fixing his problem that she ends up being the equation and the problem itself as it bursts onto her because um she is so bewildered, beguiled by trying to sift through his seeming fortress of a mind that he seems kind of content with, because at least it's something he can hold on to, and now it's become hers. So this walks right off Shamala's piece, and damn, it's a hard note to read because of where it went on the back end of this. That idea of one can be so involved in trying to help someone else that all of a sudden you get swallowed by them itself.
Oh, absolutely. Well said there, Rex. And Robbie, your thoughts?
Well, wow. Well, just some poems you feel some of the energy of it, or you understand some of what it's speaking on, and you feel the need to read it as powerfully and expressively as you can. And that's the thing, is like, how horrible are walls that are made of velvet, right? It's like they're so delicate, and you can't break them. And it's almost like this irony, like maybe they are unbreakable because they are delicate. They it's like this one thing that you have to do, just that one thing to break free, but you can't. And that's harder to face, really, than like a equivalent of like a titanium vault in front of you, of emotion sometimes, because you it's easier to hide behind that, like, oh, I've got so much overwhelming me, but there's this velvet wall that's in front of you, and you can't break through. And I just think a lot about, like I remember the one therapist that was like complete crap. And he said to me, "Well, you're pathetic." Well, I say that in jest, and I'm like, okay, well, and thankfully I was cognizant enough and self-individuated enough to know that that was not good. And this poem reminded me of that incident, and it reminded me of how the therapist can have too much power, and they turn you into a codependent. And the turnaround on here is just vicious. But now she sits across from me, but I'm the one listening. She's unraveling thread by thread, digging for doors in a mind that isn't his anymore. And this poem was just so powerful, and it just spoke to me on some levels, because yeah, I as I've gotten older, I have metacognition, and I can kind of look at myself outside of myself. And because of that, when I see people doing that, where the role gets flipped and they're like abusing their power, it really upsets me, because like I have the perception to see what's going on. So yeah, beautiful, like, well, intense, right? Beautiful is kind of a weird word to use, but yes, it's amazing and intense right here. This is I'm definitely gonna put this in my bookmarks.
Oh, absolutely. Well said there, Robbie. Great comment. And back to you, Phil.
Rex, I'm going to come to you for this next one.
Of course
This
you
is
is.
called. I am. This is called Still She Remains by teacher Kevin Poems. And whenever you're ready.
All righty. Still She Remains by teacher Kevin Poems. How much can the world lose and still remember itself? The question hangs like smoke after prayer. On that morning we learned your name would no longer answer back. The air felt altered, as if language itself had misplaced a vowel. A mother calls into dust, a child answers with nothing, and somewhere between those two silences we stand, holding the echo. Shamala, you were not loud about your light. You did not demand to be seen. You wrote like someone cupping a small flame against an unkind wind. You stayed. That is the wound no one prepares you for, to remain through the fracture, through the slow weathering of faith, through rooms that forgot how to sing. You stayed in your poems, in the tender unrest of them, in the questions you refused to sand smooth. You taught us how to loosen love without letting it fall, how to speak without bruising silence, how to endure without becoming smaller. Still, the ash falls, soft as memory. Still, your words lift like steam from salt water, loosening what clung. The world has lost something, yes, but it remembers itself a little better because you were here. And in that remembering, you remain. And poem.
Great read, Rex. Um, and thank you, teacher Kevin Poems, for sharing this beautiful, heartfelt write with us. It's a wonderful tribute to the light and love that Shamala shared. And Robbie, your thoughts?
This is my favorite by far right now, and I think this captures Shamala the best, like directly. Uh, the idea of refusing to smooth like the edges, uh, and the thing is, there's something beautiful about someone who does that, but does that gracefully. I think Shamala was like that, and I was nodding my head so many times in agreement with like the idea of her light shining naturally. There are people like that that it's just who and what they are. They just shine naturally. It's part of their being that they're a good person. That's one of the most beautiful things I think in the world, and I am so glad that someone said that in this poem.
Oh, absolutely. I have to agree. Great comment, Robbie. And Rex, you did a wonderful read of that. Your thoughts?
I think part of what Robbie was hitting on was he used a couple of Shamala's lines to emphasize woven into this piece itself. Like a mother calls in the dust, a child answers with nothing. And somewhere between those two silences, we stand holding the echo. So it uses those two lines there, and I think a couple other ones as well. Like, was it a uh, that is the wound no one prepares you for, to remain. And then through the slow weathering of faith, through rooms that forgot how to sing. So he picked out a couple of lines as an emphasis from Shamala to actually drive where his thoughts were going. And I even still the ash falls and continuation up there. So he picked the right lines to voice what he was feeling in the moment and how to make sure it held an impact and still walked itself back to the original piece that he was dipping into.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said there, Rex. And back to you, Jean. Jean?
Here, I'm going to put this next piece up, and this is called The Argument of Silence by Shamala. And I'm going to give this one a read. Brahma breaks, his voice fraying like old manuscripts. I did not create them to be surplus. I did not spin galaxies so they could be crushed into uselessness. Yet look, souls mass-produced by mornings, each consciousness managed, optimized, measured by output, discarded when inefficient. They no longer ask why they suffer. They ask how to endure it quietly. This is not faith. This is compliance dressed as virtue. I see them kneel not before gods, but before clocks, screens, policies. Their silence is trained. Vishnu not chosen. They are abused by systems that prey, destroyed by hands that quote you, and still you lie there, endless, unwrinkled, watching. What you call patience looks dangerously like neglect, when power hides behind cosmic neutrality. Tell me, preserver, what exactly are you preserving? Vishnu does not open his eyes. You mistake structure for tyranny. Not all order is oppression. You made bodies, Brahma. I wait for awareness. I do not intervene because intervention has become spectacle. Every rescue is filmed, every miracle monetized, every savior turned to content. You want me to speak louder, but noise is the language of control. Those who are ready withdraw consent from the world. On Ekadashi, they do not fast to be pure. They fast to remember that desire is not destiny. They do not ask me to save them. They recognize me. Brahma falters. His many faces blur into one, his hands raised in disbelief. And what of those, the forgotten, the misused, the ones crushed between belief and despair? Not even their pain is spared. Are they acceptable losses, collateral spirits, counted and catalogued in silence? You ask them to arrive in their own time, while time itself tightens like a noose. Late fees, deadlines, aging bodies, the slow humiliation of becoming obsolete. If meaning must be earned through emptiness, then the poor pay first and pay longest. Is your faith a philosophy of waiting or a theology of delay? They were taught to aim for stars that were never destinations, only distance, only proof that longing could be endless. Vishnu opens both eyes. The universe exhales. There is no innocence left, Brahma. Creation itself was an imposition. Consciousness was the first wound. Some break before awakening. I do not intervene. I simply let the fracture complete its course. I do not promise justice. I offer continuity. I will not replace one cage with another and call it salvation. Yes, some are crushed before awakening. There is no clean system. Even creation was a risk. But listen, those who arrive broken arrive honestly. The self must fail before it can hear anything beyond itself. Akadashi is not abstinence. It is a strike against excess meaning, a refusal to be constantly filled with fear, with ideology, with promises. They will come not as believers, not as heroes, but as emptied questions, carrying the bruises of a world that waited too long. And in their own time, they will remember that they were never waiting for me. I never left. I was simply listening. End poem. Pam, are you there?
I am. And what do we have inspired by that poem, Jean?
Okay. Well, I have a piece by CRL 17. And let me put that up. Here I go again. Uh,
And great read there, by the way, Jean.
Thank you. Okay. Robbie, I'm going to ask you to read this one. This is called Honor Them Now by CRL 17. And whenever you're ready.
Okay, yeah, I'll read this one and then I'll have to dive out, kind of winding down. Okay, honor them now. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Some lives depart in mid sentence. It might happen in the dark of night, or in the bright dawn of the morning, where some days, where goodbyes happen without warning. So why do we hold on to unsent words with angry verses we have heard? One day you'll call a name and no one will answer. So speak now, love now, bend the fences, fix the wounds. The end may come much too soon. There is no such thing as forever. Act before later turns into never. End poem.
Great read, Robbie, and what a wonderful write by CRL 17. It offers up this beautiful, heartfelt, and gentle reminder to appreciate the time that we all have together. And I thought there were great lines throughout, but I did really like that couplet. So why do we hold on to unsent words with angry verses we have heard? And just really a thoughtful reminder that when we still have somebody around, to, as he says in that last stanza, mend the fences, fix the wounds. It's the time to speak up and heal is now rather than after they're gone. So excellent write by CRL 17 and very well done. And Robbie, you did a great read of that. Your thoughts?
There's a real earnestness of, when you're trying to remind somebody of all the important things. And because this was more so a brevity, I think that it gave that urgency a bit more power because you're not meandering about it. And so I thought that worked well. And saying act before later turns into never is really good. I've come to believe that one-liners like that really are powerful. I think about like the some of the lines in Dune and Star Wars, and that like these simple one line phrases that say so much, and that kind of don't allow the mind wiggle room to try to get out of something, right? So there's a lot of power in that. And so I think that the poem captured that kind of feeling well, of not giving your mind the kind of the excuse to do something that it's supposed to not do something that it's supposed to do. So, but with that, I'll absolutely be listening to the rest of the show. I'll be staying in chat here, but I'll be listening more in the background.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in. Much
You bet.
appreciated. And
Well, Pam, that leaves you and me.
yes. Because I'm guessing Rex's battery must have died or something.
Something like that, because
he's just completely it must have been.
Well, I'm sure. Okay, this next piece, excuse me, I'm going to ask you to read. This is called The Quiet Lesson by Shamala.
All right. Let me give me just a moment. I forgot to grab that one and get that posted. All right. Here we go. The Quiet Lesson by Shamala. Oh, you polite little empire of entitlement, how tenderly you practice violation. You butter your intrusion with smiles, call them harmless, light, playful, then wonder why my calm is a locked room and my patience a museum you can't afford. You've always been fond of trivial touch, a tug of hair, a bookmark in a novel I never chose, a languid thumb that maps my thigh as if territory, a cheek slapped into silence, an invisible stare that roasts the ribs. Society applauds your manners, indifferent, a standing ovation for the polite criminal. That night, the train hummed like a lullaby for strangers. I balanced my cheek on my palm, windows reflecting my tired face, the world out there a smear of light and forgetting. First intrusion, a socked foot, unwelcomed between the window and the seat, an apology wrapped in cotton, a small, precise disrespect that knew my name. I pushed it away. It returned, insistent, like bad weather. Then a hand, polite as a tax collector, crept over my shoulder. Startled, I looked back at a chin hooked on my headrest, a hawk that mistook my silence for consent. I did not shout. I practiced courtesy for the sleeping, fingering the thin seam between noise and necessity. He treated my body like a courtesy call, expecting me to answer with silence. So I unpinned the little civilized thing at my throat, a safety pin, banal as a receipt, honest as a truth. No sermon, no sermonizing, just the slow clinical decision to make my boundaries speak in sharper fonts. The pin met his hand like a punctuation mark, a period placed where a sentence would not end. He made the quietest scream I had ever catalogued, a sound like a single unpaid debt being called. Afterwards, the carriage sighed, the theft undone. I slept like an island that had learned to be shoreline, dreaming of sarcastic laurels for the brave. Congratulations, entitlement. You finally bled. Let this be your instruction manual. Some lessons are not taught with speeches, they are taught with small, honest points. End poem. And back to you, Jean.
Yes, yes. I must say, above all else, Shamala was an excellent poet. Her work is always pristine. So, wonderful job. And the next piece that was inspired by that is, oh no, 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 no. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so confused. Okay.
Gene, do you want to assign that one to me?
Well, I mean, only if you want to read it, John.
I we're just down to the two of you, so I think
I
you could
know.
use another pair of hands. So,
Well, I mean, it's entirely up to you. This one, this piece is called "The Art of Living" by Daniel Duham.
Yep, I'll give that a go. The Art of Living by Daniel Duham. The heart sheds invisible tears, which lay hidden in a safe place. No one can hear it cry or scream, but the eyes tell the tale by their glow. Their whole being is surrounded by darkness, trapped within themselves. Faith is the only consolation to pull them through each day, to find love of oneself when the world says no, is a strength that develops from saying, I am here for a reason. No one has the right to say otherwise. Self-worth is more important than acceptance. Lets the voices of doubt relegate into the background. Stop thinking so much about belonging and be yourself, because great things have been discovered by being a pioneer. Don't let doubt enter your mind. Life is an art unto itself and should be admired. Being different is not a crime. If we were the same, the world would not move but stay stagnant, forever stuck in limbo. end poem.
Great read, John, and what a wonderful write by Daniel Duhame. This is such a great take on the chosen prompt. I like how this speaks on the idea of, accepting yourself and the emotions you feel, and how is so important to at times um, be quiet in the moment and take in your surroundings. And I thought there were great lines throughout, but I especially like their whole being is surrounded by darkness, trapped within themselves. Faith is the only consolation to pull them through each day. To find love of oneself when the world says no is a strength that develops from saying, I am here for a reason. Wonderful lines and very well done. And your thoughts, Jean?
You're on mute, Jean.
My comments are usually better that way. I thought this was a well-written piece, strong lines throughout, and a great take on the chosen prompt. And again, a wonderful nod to Shamala. And I picked it up here. Self-worth is more important than acceptance. Let's the voices of doubt relegate into the background. Stop thinking so much about belonging and be yourself. Because great things have been discovered by being a pioneer. Don't let doubt enter your mind. Life is an art unto itself and should be admired. Being different is not a crime. If we were the same, the world would not move, but stay stagnant forever, stuck in limbo. Yeah, this is a great share, and thank you very much for that, Daniel. Much appreciated. Well done. Okay, now, where am I going next? Yes. This next piece is, again, by Shamala, and this is called Kali, A Mother's Embrace. Pam, can I get you to give this a read?
Yes, absolutely. I would be happy to.
Thank you, ma'am.
They said, don't stare too long at the dark, but I did. She stared back, eyes like funeral pyres, lips stained in blood, bangles jangling like war drums, and laughed like the end of my ego. It was Navaratari, sugar-dipped lamps and ghee-soaked chants, while aunties danced in vermilion and white silk and pretended they weren't scared of the real queen hiding behind all that jasmine and gold. Kaliyama doesn't do mascara. She smears ash from the cremation ground and calls it couture. I dropped out, not acid, but maybe too much Agualbecu smoke, and Ama's third eye glares when I said, maybe we're all just lotus rooted illusions, dreaming gods into the void so they blink back at us. Oh, Kali, devourer of self help books and savior of those too stubborn to surrender. What's the market price of entitlement this week? Do I chant Om, Aim, Arim, Kleem, Jadamye, Vijay, or just swipe right on Shiva and call it destiny? No map, no GPS, just the Bardo, the doll in one hand, Jasmine's stuffed hairpins in the other. I rode the edge between clarity and chaos. She's not the goddess of destruction, but the quiet ending of all that must end: pride, possession, pretension. She is time, yes, but also the timeless, the still point where birth and death kneel. She's the pause before rebirth, the space between inhale and confession. So I danced with her, barefoot and bold, let her cut off my to-do list, devoured my people-pleasing tendencies with my red tongue like a gossiping cousin. You're not dying, she whispered. You're finally waking up. And I believed her, because in her arms, even death feels like a second chance to get the rhythm right. End poem. And back
Nice.
to you, Dean.
Absolutely. The next piece that was inspired by Kali and Mother's Embrace, oh, this thing acted all night. It acted fine. Now all of a sudden it wants to act up. Oh, okay. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Shamala, The Cost of Enlightenment by Time Teller. There is a space between doing and done. There is a realization burst its pregnancy. Where realization bursts its pregnancy. Into startled newborns screaming at the top of their lungs. As you knock over the cup before it's finished, that space has been and gone. They, the gods, saw it. Is that where we spend so much time between things, waiting for yet another God to rip out the sleepiness of comfort, the memory foam of routine, flattening the assured walk into tomorrow? There is a candle in the window for you and your kindness, your awareness of such spaces between things, an inhale and the confession. And how Kali brings forth only the inevitable, like when the downs and Weald lost so many trees that stormy year. Now, green, sturdy replacements pay homage for their bearers. Is it so? Each space you mention, dear poet, has room for thought deeper than canyons beneath the deepest seas. As it is so, the beneath the missiles commodities go up in value, while our personal cost of enlightenment rockets upwards each painful day. Kali blesses us with her attention. Do you see the young pups scroll and swipe to their deity of attentions? Perhaps evolution has made them immune to the needs of our old gods. Has it become AI has too much awareness? Its reflection of Kali's aloofness? As we drain away fantasies, evaporating thoughts into the saltiness of reality. Between the void of ignorance and the sting of experience, AI strums our attentions. Kali, between here and there, how many likes or hearts does a believer need to be elevated above the pain of change? We're a perpetual entropy of our pride and stubbornness, and the loss strips flesh like trees drop their leaves in drought. Darkness jokes with her choices and our fasting faces, the darkness with illumination of color, hunger, sparking night air and visions of tightropes and cliff edges as rivers cut the valleys, where sanity is various, clouded clarity and confused torment. There is a loss of heart as one gains another, as we fall or rise into death. You, you are given a voucher that says, here to your beautiful soul and kind, gentle being is a token for your final cost of enlightenment. And may your journey now be a meandering and an old and wise river that has passed through not all but some of the landscape that has on offer. To take your place and dance in rhythm as we still stubbornly barter, the cost of enlightenment, feel the intake and exhale of joy and love for all you leave to follow. End the poem.
Great read there, Jean. And this is a powerful write by Time Teller. Such a great take on the chosen prompt. Amazing imagery and metaphors. It's a reflection of a spiritual journey in part to me. It also speaks to me as a heartfelt tribute to the spirit of Shamala and the journey taken. And there's strong lines throughout. Um, but I do especially like we are in perpetual entropy of our pride and stubbornness, and the lost strips flesh like trees drop their leaves in drought. Darkness jokes with her choices, and our fasting faces, the darkness with illumination of colorful hunger, sparking night air in visions and tightropes and cliff edges as rivers cut the valleys where sanity is various, clouded clarity and confused torment. There is a loss of heart as one gains another as we fall or rise into death. You are given a voucher that says, here to your beautiful soul and kind, gentle being is the token for your final cost of enlightenment. Just absolutely amazing lines and very well done by Time Teller. And Jean, you did a wonderful read of that. Your thoughts.
Well, I don't know. I think I chopped it a few times, and I apologize for that, time teller. You know, me and long pieces, it's rough. Um, this is it's a wonderful poem. There's a lot of let me read it the way I wrote it so I don't mess that up too. So it was a piece well penned, and I thought there were great thoughts shared throughout the write. Excellent take on the chosen prompt, and a wonderful share for tonight's show. And I kind of am with you, Pam. They were actually, yeah, a lot of the lines I was looking at myself. So yeah, very well done, and thank you, time teller, as always. Great piece and great share. Hmm.
Absolutely. Great comment, Jean.
Okay. Okay. Hang on, I gotta write that famous line. Uh,
I think what Shamala would have really liked about that poem was that it was also very long and also very ambitious, just like Kali, A Mother's Embrace, and hard to read too. So she would have liked
yeah.
how complex it was.
Hate when I trip over things, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, the next piece I'm going to put up. John, do you want to read this one?
Sure.
Okay, this is called In Your Light, I Love by Shamala.
In your light, I learn how to love, not as transaction, but as transformation, not a mask of service, but the living cadence of being seen. Once I mistook obedience for love, to bend, to break, to offer myself, as though sacrifice could be devotion. I poured endlessly, yet waited always for the vessel to return full. Love then was a barter, a hollow word stitched with need. When it did not echo back, I named it villain, blamed it for every wound it left behind. But in you, I found no mirror, only a pulse, and pulse does not return what it touches. It transforms it. It does not beg to be repaid. It teaches the seed how to expand. Your presence revealed that happiness is not a gift you give me, but the vision of myself I glimpse into in your gaze. I do not only love you, at least not in the way I once thought love meant. I breathe with you, a rhythm that hums beyond need, beyond craving. You are not merely the love of my being, you are the breath of existence, the current that reminds me what life, what light, what joy already lives in me. And in this awakening, I see that enlightenment is not escape, but embodiment, to feel the weightless tether between my heart and yours, between shadow and radiance, between word and silence. It astonishes me how years of trying to see you has given me true sight. I searched for your outline and instead discovered my own. Don't you know yet? It's your light that lights the world. End poem.
Beautiful read.
Yeah.
What a wonderful poem that was. And
Oh,
that
it
was,
truly is.
yeah, I mean, she definitely captured the roomy feel in that piece, and very, very well done. Absolutely. So the next piece that I'm going to put up, and I'm not putting it up in that room, I'm putting it up over here, is called Lesson of Illumination by A.L. Phelps. And I have an audio for that.
Oh.
Yes. And here we go.
I told you once it was in your light that I found love, that I was love, that your radiance ignited me. This was a gift you gave me. In return, I've left you the love that burned within me. In this lesson of illumination, this holiness of being seen, hold on to this radiance as you once held my hand. In the dark you will find me. I am the last ray of the setting sun. I bid you to become warm where I once burned. When the night becomes heavy, look for me in the starshine. I have poured my stars into your keeping. I am not gone, but diffused into dawn. My memory is a lighthouse, not an anchor. In your light, I learned how to love. In my love, learned how to remain unafraid of the dark.
Wonderful read and write, Amy. Thank you for the SoundCloud. It is just very much appreciated. And Jean, your thoughts?
What a gorgeous piece this is. Beautiful from beginning to end. It made me want to pick up all the lines, as always, when I get like that. But I took it from here. In the dark you will find me. Look to the western sky. I am the last ray of the setting sun. I bid you to become warm where I once burned. When night becomes heavy, look for me in the starshine. I have poured my stars into your keeping. I am not gone, but diffused into dawn. My memory is the lighthouse, not an anchor. In your light, I learned how to love. In my love, learn how to remain unafraid of the dark. What beautiful, beautiful lines. And just, I love that it's light in words, but it's so beautiful. So thank you so much, Amy, for sharing with us. This is a wonderful, wonderful piece.
Oh, I have to agree. It truly is. I mean, it's a beautiful write, a great take on the chosen prompt. Um, Amazing imagery and metaphors. I like how there's a sense of gentle wisdom within this rite, and the idea of a love between two people who are both light and anchors for each other. And I thought there was great lines throughout, but I did especially like those last three stanzas. Beautifully written and very well done by A.L. Phelps. And back to you, Jean.
Okay.
By the way, for those listening and want to look later, the author's note here is beautiful.
You can read it if you want, John.
Okay. It
'Cause,
says, I did not get the chance to know Shamala. We passed in the same circles but never spoke. I've spent the last month reading her work. I've cried and laughed and ached at her words. Yeah. We did not get to know each other in life, but her soul lives in the words she wrote. I feel like I've gotten to know a part of her here. I feel like we have had some of the same experiences in life and had a lot in common. I don't presume to speak for her, but I'm not a stranger to pain of loss and grief. And while I was reading her work, I kept coming back to this poem, that In Your Light I Love. And I couldn't shake the feeling this was what I needed to say. I think she sat beside me as I wrote. These are words I wish I could have had from my mother when she passed. A gift from Shamala, a friend I didn't get to know in life. And I know they are for whoever else needs to feel them.
It was just, beautiful, beautiful words there. Just an absolutely stunning piece. Okay, so the next piece that I am going to put up.
Oh.
This is called Emerald Mercy by Shamala. And if I can get back to 15 buttons behind. Okay, and I think I'm supposed to read this one. That's if it wants to work for me.
It's a long one.
Oh, another long one? You want to read it?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Emerald Mercy by Shamala. I was led into the desert, wrists woven with loyalty, legs lashed by obedience. I did not defy. I did not deny. My feet sank into ground glass, dragging scorched silt with every step. Certain my sentence was sand. Days of scalding silence before the horizon shimmered strangely. Your elixir laced my breath, steadied my pulse, undoing what pain made me carry, and I mistrusted its ease. I felt it. I saw you. An emerald eye, breaking endless beige, palm fronds fluttering like green whispers. Water trembled, a silver spell expecting me. I slowed. My body leaned forward, parched, but instinct pulled me back. A quiet warning, whispering, mirage, mirage, mirage. I had walked too long in punishment to trust temptation this tender. Still, I stepped closer, following waves in the air, heat loosening into silk against my skin. You rose before me, shades spilling over my body, the fever in my chest easing against my will. My oasis. The word felt dangerous. My fingers hovered just above the surface, afraid it would vanish the moment I believed in it. I thought of turning back, of choosing the certainty of suffering over the risk of relief. But my body betrayed me, fingers breaking, coolness climbing my skin, spreading, seeping, undoing the ache I learned to endure. I inhaled sharply, not illusion, or worse, a perfect one. You poured through me until my pulse softened, slowed, strengthened. I resisted. This is how the desert deceives, how it dresses death in green, calls it salvation. The water kept moving, kept touching, kept teaching my body tension. I no longer knew how to refuse. The magic melted my marrow. The current coaxed my guarded limbs. A deeper rhythm stirred. Not surrender, but the slow, terrifying unlearning of fear. You rooted me, balm against my cracked lips, blaze winding low and quiet beneath it. Even as I questioned you, my spine straightened, my breath deepened, my body remembered what strength felt like without suffering. I should have stepped away. Instead, I sank, shamelessly, letting the water pull me, wrapping, trickling, as currents rose to a fountain, carrying me, wondering if they would vanish or claim me completely. Suspended between surrender and delight, into your sheltering grove, into your dangerous, dazzling mercy that might undo me. Still, I stay. End poem.
Great read. Great read, Jojo. Okay. Well, Pam, should I go first? Or should I go for the next poem? I think I should. This is called Fleeing the... Yes?
Yes.
Okay, this is called Fleeing the Oasis by Garden Delights. This is the first line is written in a respectful memory of Shamala's incredible writing talent. The way you greet me, as if it is you in the desert, perishing if you do not rest your fingers on my shoulders, kneading them down to my elbows, a magical weaving of your spider's web, gentle as the mist flowing around us. When you draw me closer to your mirage, chills begin, full-bodied chills, as if I'm terribly afraid of your spidery tendencies, unable to turn away. You have been my weaver of dreams, having inventoried my soul, mirroring it, introducing me to myself, while keeping my place in the game. I have trusted you, while fearing you know too much, having probed too far, delving beyond the curtains, holding in your hands parts of me I most need. I am terrorized by your power, the same subtle force I can count on, from morning's first breath till I curl up beside you at night. You are in each step I take, each hesitation, every ache. This push pull is ripping me apart. It is heat lightning coursing through my veins, thousands of antelope hoofs pounding in my chest, raising dust that chokes me, siphoning my energy. Your eyes flick with predatory reflections of mine. I stumble out of your arms, grasping for support, pushing away your hands. How much of me Me have I left behind in my refuge, while gathering my ragged bits to reassemble when safety finds me. Will I recognize it? End poem. Pam?
Someone on mute.
I think so.
Oh,
Yep.
yes, that would help. Sorry about that. Yeah, great read there, Jean. Just amazing imagery and metaphors. A great take on the chosen prompt. These just powerful lines throughout. I like how it speaks on learning, getting to know somebody's strength and getting to realize that that strength isn't something you need to fear, but is something that can guide you through a journey of healing and a journey of discovering your own strength. I thought there were great lines throughout, but I especially like where it says, the push pull is ripping me apart. It is heat lightning coursing through my veins, thousands of antelope hoofs pounding my chest, raising dust that chokes me, siphoning my energy. Your eyes flick with predatory reflections of me. I stumble out of your arms, grasping for support, pushing away your hands. You know, just wonderful lines and very well done. And Jean, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this was a wonderful piece. I thought it was a great take on the prompt, number one. And there were so many great lines throughout. The way you greet me, as if it is you in the desert, perishing if you do not rest your fingers on my shoulders, kneading them down to my elbows, a magical weaving of your spider's web, gentle as the mist flowing around us. When you draw me closer to your mirage, chills begin, full bodied chills, as if I am terribly afraid of your spidery tendencies, unable to turn away. You have been my weaver of dreams, having inventory my soul, mirroring it, introducing me to myself, while keeping my place in the game. I think that there was a lot of just it was very well done, and I liked it a lot. So I want to thank you, Garden Delights. I think it was a great piece to share with us tonight. Nice work.
So I was Shamala asked me to be her editor on Emerald Mercy, and it was like a 3-hour knockdown, drag them out, trying to get her to like cut lines and change a few of her alliterations and add em dashes, and it was really fun. But all I can say is, Shamla, remember all those edits I was suggesting? Um, I think we just read the piece that I was kind of hoping you would end up with in the end, something about 1/5 as long as, and every bit as good. So this is a really good response to that prompt.
Nice. I know. I've had a few of those knockdown, drag out, bloody um, collaborations myself, so I understand.
Yeah, I think we all have at one point or another.
Yeah.
She was very taken in by the prompt, by your prompt, Pam, the Nin prompt. That was for the Art of Seduction contest.
Yes, yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I thought that was such an amazing write and great inspiration taken. You know, yeah,
Well, she was
yeah,
so
she won.
enamored. Sorry, she was so enamored by it. She wrote like a War and Peace response to it.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, Pam, I'm coming to you for this next piece. And this is called, hang on, I got to put it someplace so I can read it again. There it is.
Oh.
This is called Mayflower by Shamala. So whenever you are ready.
All right. May's child, not from rooted ground, but one that rose where light is found. A gentle voice, a blooming trace, a quiet laughter, a soothing grace. Untraditionally loved, yet pure and true. A blooming surge in all you do. You stood through storms, a steady vine, resilient in rain, graceful in shine. Now gardens stretch where you remain, where kindness roots, through joy and pain. You teach the blooms to reach and stand with roots that hold in shifting sand. A flower of spring, vivid and bright, bold in the sun, soft in the night. Your presence like spring, always near. Your whisper a strength, quiet and clear. Dear brother, May doesn't get better. And poem. Oh, what a just beautiful, heartfelt write.
Hmm.
And back to you, Jean.
Okay, now the piece that was, well, the piece that was inspired by Shamala's piece is called Shamala's Flowers of May by Miriam Kilmer. And I have a sound clap for that. So let me hit the button. And here we go.
Shamala's Flowers of May by Miriam Kilmer. Poppies and violets spring up through wild grasses, escaping garden borders. Shamala, your verses goad us to break free, confessing what our hearts knew in secret, like hidden violets, erupting like golden poppies, shunning boundaries and conventions, whimsically stirring all to live beyond ourselves. Your words grow on the page before our eyes, forever whispering, shouting, laughing. Poppies and violets blooming in an unkempt field in May.
Nice.
Great read and write, Miriam. Such a wonderful take on the chosen prompt. And Jean, your thoughts?
I think this was a wonderful piece by Miriam. I think it was a great take on the prompt, and it was a wonderful brevity. I love the references again to poppies and violets blooming in an unkempt field in May. But I like the middle stanza. Shamala, your verses goad us to break free, confessing what our hearts knew in secret, like hidden violets, erupting like golden poppies, shunning boundaries and conventions, whimsically stirring all to live beyond ourselves. Your words grow on the page before our eyes, forever whispering, shouting, and laughing. I just thought it was a great piece by Miriam, so thank you for that. And thanks for the audio.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have to agree. This was a wonderful take on the chosen prompt. I like the narrative of this, how she writes directly to Shamala, especially in that second stanza. Shamala, your verses goad us to break free, confessing what our hearts knew in secret, like hidden violets, erupting like golden poppies, shunning boundaries and conventions, whimsically stirring all to live beyond ourselves. What thoughtful and heartfelt lines, amazing imagery and metaphors, and very well done. And yeah, I just great. I do really like that second stanza and how this really captures the personality of Shamala and the spirit of her poetry. So
Absolutely.
excellent, right? Very well done by Miriam Kilmer. Thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing this with us, Miriam.
Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful
And
piece.
back to you, Jean.
Okay. Okay, so the next piece is our final piece for the night, and this is called Resting in Mustard. And John said he wanted to read this for us, and that is wonderful. Um, okay,
Hmm.
so John, whenever you're ready, I'm going to put it up right now.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find a group. There it is. There you go. Okay, here we go.
Before I do,
Okay.
let me take this opportunity to thank everybody, but in particular, first and foremost, Jean, who put all of this together with, I think, some serious help from Pam, and then also ran this whole 3 hour and so forth 45-minute tribute to Shamala and her poetry. I know this was an amazing amount of work, and none of us would be here without your constant attention to the LNP garden, Jean and Pam. So thank you both for all that you did to put this together. Thank you to, long list of people on the board, Laurent and Rex and Gray Eyes and Robbie, and Bill was here for a bit, and I'm sure I'm missing someone, whoever I'm missing. Miriam was here too, right?
Miriam.
So thank you all for doing all that you did to get through these poems, read them, talk about them, and honor Shamala's poetry and life along the way. Also, thank you to everybody who contributed poems and thoughts and comments. I know that Shamala would have really loved every minute of this. I also want to thank Shamini and Joanne for contributing a personal touch from Kuala Lumpur. Much appreciated to my dear friends in KL. So I'll reach out to all of the poets individually and thank all of you individually in DMs.
Absolutely. Well, John, we want to thank you for everything you did to pull your weight in this. I know it wasn't an easy time for you, so we want to let you know we do appreciate the time spent, the poems gathered, the audios that you acquired for us. It was very much appreciated because it was a task, and
Yeah, it was.
it was.
But a labor of love. So
Absolutely, absolutely. This whole night was a labor of love. You know, that was what it was all about. It was all about Shamala. It was about her poetry. It was about how people felt about her, what people thought of her poetry, and I think that people came out and it was a beautiful tribute. So excellent job, and thank you to everyone that contributed. Absolutely.
Also, Joanne wanted me to thank everyone on her behalf too. She said heartfelt appreciation to all involved and to me.
Right.
So
Has she? Well, she can use the YouTube link.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she can access the page, the group that we created for Shamala, because everything is there and it can be read again.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but and Pam, thank you for all that you did to help me along, and all those wonderful conversations on the phone that made it all come together. At least kept my sanity, so that was a big plus. But yeah, so I thought it was a great night of poetry and a great turnout. So,
I have to agree. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you to all of you.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. So now John's going to read this final piece for the show, and this is called "Resting in Mustard."
So about a week before she passed, Pam was running a Twisted Tuesday contest, and Shamala and I were talking on the phone, and she said, "Tell me about the wildflowers where you live." And I was like, "Well, it's been a long winter. There aren't any." But let me tell you about the hills of Sonoma County where I grew up, and in the spring, how the hills and the fields would turn green, and a few weeks later would get invaded by the mustard grass, and they would just become this green and yellow carpeting. And she liked that because she had colors for her and me. She was golden, I was green, and so when I woke up the next morning, she had written "Resting in Mustard" by Shamala. It rises unseen, curling around the roots, tickling the edges of a daisy until it shivers. A tulip bends into motion. The pulse slides along its stem, arching into lavender, trembling in reply. Through clover it threads, slipping under leaves, brushing bees mid-flight, skimming time hidden in shadow. A poppy quivers, a sunflower tips. Each bloom a note, each stem a chord. It darts like a creature alive, looping, coiling, spiraling, skimming reeds, flicking water, catching the soft tremor of every living thing. It slows only at the mustard grass, folding its energy into the golden stalks. The meadow exhales. Stillness arrives. But the air hums faintly, a memory of movement, of wings and petals, of a body that has traveled through the living and finally found its home. End poem.
Great read, John. And this is such a beautiful poem to end the night on. I just love the gentleness of this poem. And amazing show tonight, Jean and John and everyone. Thank you for your time. It's such a beautiful night of poetry that is, honoring and celebrating the memories that we have of Shamala and the impact her presence had on us. So
Absolutely.
thank you very much.
There wasn't a bad poem in the bunch tonight. Not at all. It was
No, not at
fabulous.
all.
And Jojo, it was great to hang with you tonight. Uh, Thanks for spending the evening with us. And thank you, Angela. She was so sweet. She hung in there all night. Either that or sleep.
She gets the trophy.
Yes, she does. I mean, unless she
Yes.
fell asleep and she was listening to us, that could be possible too.
Yeah.
But what a one! Oh, she is. Hello, Angela. No, but it was a great show, and I appreciated everyone. So on that note, I've already said my piece about thanking everyone. But it was a good night. It was a good night, and I'm sure Shamala did enjoy it.
No doubt.
Absolutely,
No doubt about that.
absolutely. So thank you guys, and I'm gonna close it out.
Good
Good
night.
night.